or well, not even the other day, last night. You were like, "Yep, here's the start of the stream." So I did exactly what I'm doing here now. I'm sitting here, I'm watching. I'm like, "When's it gonna start? When's it gonna start? When's it gonna start?" And then all of a sudden, you started like mid sentence, and I'm like, um, huh,
I think I was actually kind of talking before I even hit the button, like on my stream last night. I don't know, man.
right,
I was both there and not there. Like I was in way better position than I have been for the last couple weekends, but yeah.
right. No, I get that. Like I said, it was just when it finally kicked over to, "Hey, now here's the stream live and moving." I'm like, Bill is already in mid thought. Is there that big of a delay on this, or
We are
what's going on here?
100% without a doubt.
Live.
Yep.
Yep.
Because I just got the
The
notifications and everything.
notification. Yep. Yeah, no, it didn't switch me over, so I literally backed out, refreshed it, and it said, "Yeah, it's live." And I said, "Okay, cool. Close that one, open this one." And other than hearing the crickets in your house,
Yeah. So
everything else sounds
I
good,
have the window open over here.
right?
That was like that too yesterday. The
Yes, Jake,
crickets.
there's a Gundam shirt.
Yeah. Okay. Right off the bat, we got people coming in here. Yes. This is like a, believe it or not, I know this is going to sound wild. I'm pretty sure this is a GameStop shirt. I bought it on like a
Wouldn't surprise
clearance
me.
rack at a different thing, but I'm pretty sure I've seen these shirts. I think this is a GameStop shirt. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the supplier they buy from, but I seem to remember back when I was still going there that this was one of the shirts they sold.
Right.
Like I'm gonna be buying from them again real soon. Be the first $60 they've got from me in like
Months. Oh, hey, there's a guy.
I don't think it's months.
Oh, yeah, probably years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's years.
Because there was. It was either a What's Up or a Legacy of Gaming where you were literally talking. You're like, "I'm done with GameStop. No more. No more
Yeah,
GameStop. Done with them."
I went back once since then. One time I went back to kind of do a checkup to see if things had gotten better, and when I did, I was met with the exact same problem that I've had with GameStop time and time and time again. I walk in and the guy just, I know it's not their fault, but damn
Right.
it. Like, I hate that. I hate the way they have to be. You walk in and they're like, "Hey man, pre orders? Can I help you? What are you looking for? Can I get you this?" And then, like, you go up there and you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get this," and they're like, what else do you want?" And I'm like, "Fucking nothing." And they're like, "What about this card? I don't need that card." Well, you could have like saved money with this card. No, I couldn't
No,
have,
I can't.
because first off, your card is garbage compared to what it was when I actually cared in the first place, and on top of that, I come in here once every 3-4 years now, if that ever. And he's like,
Right.
well, I mean, if you're going to start coming back, it's a good idea to get that card." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And I know what it is. They ride his
Hmm.
ass, like giving him like certain quotas and things that he has to hit. But it makes me hate GameStop. It makes me hate the way they treat their employees. It makes me hate the way they treat their customers. It makes me hate most of
Right.
their product in general. And they don't have anything, normally, that I can't get other places until they decided to get into toys.
Nice reference there, Jake. I give
Now,
you money, you give me my stuff.
yep,
End of transaction.
now they've gotten into toys and they've been able to land exclusives. And that sucks, but part of what I hate about them goes away online.
Right.
Online, there's just two different options. Am I a pro? Am I not a pro? I say, no, I'm not a pro, and then I click the item and add it to my cart and I buy it and I'm done. And I didn't have to be badgered to death by the employee that has to make some sort of sales rate and everything. And I would argue, I can't prove this, but I would argue that when I'm buying from online, there's a good chance that a store is not sending me my stuff. Maybe they send out a thing that says, hey, closest store, you have this in your inventory, but I doubt it, because you can choose to have it sent to your store, you could choose to do a walk-in if the item is there, or you can just have it sent to you. If it's just sent to you, I would think that it's sent by the warehouse, and I would think that the warehouse employees are a very different monster than the brick and mortar in-house store employees, because once you get into those employees, and this would be an interesting job to have, actually, the warehouse employees do something comparable to what I do, and I'm sure they're paid something comparable. I wouldn't say they make exactly what I make or anything like that. I'm sure they make less, but I'm sure their working habits are better. Like,
right.
How do I put this? It wouldn't surprise me if at a GameStop warehouse you're told, hey, you got to hit this quota or whatever. But I have that. I have pick rates and stuff like that. So that doesn't drive me crazy. I have a feeling that if you were working as a warehouse associate for GameStop and sending me a $60 toy, you are probably treated better, and I probably have a better customer relation with you than I do with the guys in your store, because you make that guy in your store unbearable on purpose. They do that.
Yep.
It's not that guy's fault. They do that to him.
Right. No, and to be fair, that's also one of those things where a lot of companies are basically trying to get rid of as many human employees as possible to go to like digital only. I mean, for God's sakes, we dealt with that like a few weeks ago when we went to McDonald's, where you walk in and they've got the kiosk set up. So you walk up, you push some buttons on the screen, and then it says, okay, cool, here's your ticket. Wait for the two people in the back who are working there to actually walk up and put a bag in a window and go, order number 37. Yeah. And then you grab it and go do what you need to do.
Now, I will say this. I argued years ago that if GameStop was going to survive, it would have to change to be something nearly unrecognizable to what we see today. Because it cannot survive the gaming industry. It has to either double back and become one of those trade-in game stores where you could buy literally an Atari, you know what I'm talking about, or it has to pivot into merchandising and become a completely different kind of store. The last time I walked in a GameStop, I never really talked about this, but I did. I was waiting for Michelle to get off work, or no, I'm sorry, she was at church. I was waiting for her to get out of church. I feel like that's it, because I was doing the grocery shopping. This is what I remember. I dropped her off, and I had like 3 stores I had to hit, but the one store I had to hit was not going to open until 11. So I was like, damn it, I got to waste like a half an hour. There was a GameStop. It was specifically, I'm not going to name the one it was, but I walked in.
I'm pretty sure I know which one.
I walked in and I looked around and I was like, huh. And the guy looked over at me, and it was like a repeat from my past. It was like back years ago when I walked into a co-op, because I was like, co-op records, man, I haven't been there in years. I'm gonna go buy a CD, and my wife is like,
no,
why? And I was like, because CDs, lady, that's why. And I got up and I left Burger King, and I walked over and I went in the door, and the guy goes, he stares at me for a second while I'm looking around like, what in the shit? And he goes, looking for music? Yeah. No, we don't do that here anymore. And I'm like, at a place called Co-op Records? What the fuck? So GameStop, I walk in there, and it was very much close to the same thing. In the very back, there was one space, like very much like the anime space at Best Buy for a while there was. Like it was like one rack. It had some PS5. And then there was like a shelf that was next to that had like all the PS4, like you could buy these, and like mixed in with like other games. And then, like, over here there was a rack of games, and over here there was a rack of games. But they were like single blocks. Everything else in that store, from the front to the back, was merchandise. There were shirts, there were jackets, there were bags, there were hats, there were action figures, there was rack after rack after rack of pops and like D&D merchandise. And I was like, what in the shit? And he said to me, oh, this location's a merchandise shop. And I said, really? Like, that's all you do? And he goes, pretty much. He goes, we get the newest games, like maybe the top 4 releases, but we don't focus on any of that here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking around being like, huh. So I start walking around this GameStop.
Yep.
And I'm kind of mesmerized because I don't know if it's just that a lot of people haven't figured it out or what, but I found really cool stuff there. Like, really cool stuff there. I found a Bastila like gigantic statue with her blowing up battle droids and shit like that with her double-bladed lightsaber for like $55. I almost regret that I didn't buy that, in all honesty. It was really cool.
Right.
I found like Power Rangers merchandise. I found action figures that are considered to be exceptionally rare, like Spiral. I found a Doctor Doom there, which I was very surprised at, and still at MSRP. They weren't even like jacking prices up. I found like 2-packs and a bunch of like DC Multiverse and just item after item after item after item that wasn't video games. It was like comic books and Marvel Legends and Sailor Moon, and it was just crazy to me. And I walked around that shop for a while, and then of course I left to go do all my shopping and everything. But I remember thinking when I left, if that is what GameStop becomes, you would see me in there all the time. If they change their business practices and they let that guy not badger me. Because that's one of the big things that drove me out, is I'm tired of being sold to the way that they work, and I know that it's not their fault. It makes it unpleasant for me, and I know that it's making their life miserable too, because then they're held to these ridiculous quota standards that can't be reached, and that costs them things like their bonuses and stuff like that. At that point, if I'm self-justifying, and I could very well be, I would imagine that it's a different sales process altogether when I order the Star Wars 3-pack exclusive toy and they send it straight from their warehouse. Some guy, like me, just walks down an aisle, probably with a cart or some shit, where there's a warehouse, and he probably picks it up, and he probably has a scan gun, just like I do, because that's a standard of the industry. Even Costco is using them. I see them all the time now. And he probably goes, beep, and then he like says confirm order, and then he walks it down. There's like a box, or he probably puts it on a table and pushes it, or he probably puts it in a tote, and then that tote goes down a conveyor line to another guy that takes it out, and he's like, okay, box, little thing, this and that, label, push it down here, that's UPS ordered, we're done here. And that is a different kind of job, a different kind of customer interaction that I'm sure those guys are compensated fairly. I imagine they match like a UPS warehouse type of wage, is what I'm saying. And I imagine that they also do not badger those people in the same way that these people that break their asses inside of a GameStop get badgered and then have to badger me because of it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I left GameStop for a very long time, and I noticed that GameStop Warehouse is holding items that are unobtainable. You can go on GameStop right now, and you can get the Cyclops action figure, X-Men 97, for the $24 actual asking price. Like on Amazons and things like that, he's already gone up to like $36, $46. At conventions, I've already seen him selling for $50 because he's hard to get. Like, they have... I found Kingpin online when I was doing my stream, and it blew my mind. And then somebody actually did get back to me and told me after the stream, I bought him. They have him. And I was like, what the shit? they have Kingpin available for buy at MSRP. That is exceptional because he is sold out everywhere.
Yep.
Like, he is incredibly hard to find. So I don't know. I don't know where I sit necessarily in terms of online buying. I know I hate going into that store.
Right.
GameStop's a little different nowadays. When you go in there, they don't badger you half as bad as they used to.
Yeah, but I think that's because they're all ready to quit. I don't think that's
Yeah.
because it's a failing business. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest about it. When me and you used to go in there were like 3 or 4 employees all walking around. There were like 2 guys walking around stocking shelves. There were 2 or 3 guys behind the counter. Now there's like 1 dude in there like waiting to die.
Yep.
It's usually 1 or 2 people. Nowadays, when you go in there, it's always like one person, and
Yeah,
that
and he's bored to
that,
tears.
that person's usually standing like behind the counter, like on their phone because they have nothing to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. So if you're in a dying business, you probably don't care about your quotas anymore. I'll bet you a lot of those people are there just waiting to be fired anyway, so like they don't care.
And then like that whole like credit card thing that GameStop had, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if they still have that because they don't even offer that anymore.
I don't think they do.
I
But
think they got rid of that.
it doesn't change the fact I stopped going there due to business practices.
Well, that's that's a very valid reason.
And I haven't heard yet if it's
I give
really
you-
changed.
I'll give you another reason why it's really not optimal to go there these days is because half the time they don't got shit.
For you, but that's exactly what I was talking
Yeah.
about. And the one that I went in, it's become like a really neat.
Yes, like if you go into like obviously if you go into the one in the town that I live in, you go in there and like yeah they still have video games, but everything in the middle of the
So
store.
that's the one I went in, by the way.
The one. Okay, so
Yeah,
the
it's
one,
basically just a merchandise shop.
yeah, because once you walk in there, you have if you go to your left, they have an entire wall of pops. Then they have all the fucking like shirts and figures and all their other merchandise in like the entire middle of the of the floor. And then on the outside of on the walls, you'll have your Switch games, you have your PlayStation games, you have your Xbox games. They might as well just get rid of all of them because that's the one console that they barely ever carry fucking game. At least in this area, there, or at least in my store, the Xbox section is the worst section.
Yeah.
They ain't got shit for Xbox. Their Switch section is probably their best section.
So
But like,
Jake says, remember when Amazon had drones?
Yeah.
No, Jake, we don't, because Shane wouldn't order one. Because we tried to get Shane one night when we were out camping, and we needed lighter fluid, and we didn't want to drive into town, so I kept telling Shane, Amazon has drones, order us some lighter fluid. And he's like, I'm not going to pay that price just for some fucking lighter fluid, Bill. I'm not going to do it. I'm
Nope,
like, well, then fine. We're just going to be cold, Shane. We're just going to fucking be cold and die in the woods, Shane.
Oh, that's not even what makes it worse. So the reason why we were camping is because it was the Disembodied Voices wedding the next day.
Yep.
The girls were supposed to stay in this cabin. Instead, we got conned into staying in this cabin. So we said, well, fuck it. They're literally locking the gates in an hour. We'll go to fucking Walmart, pick up a bunch of shit, and come back.
Yep.
So I picked up some pizzas and a pizza cutter because I didn't know if we had one or not. I picked up a towel because they said, hey, there's showers here. I said, good. I'm going to need one in the morning to wake up. I got some shampoo and some potato chips. I figured everybody else had stuff. Nope. So we're sitting there in front of a campfire next to a cabin being like, so who's going to light the fire? Shane's like, well, I can't light this fire. Everything's too wet. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I specifically.
He'll go, Shane, get on Amazon. You're paying that good money for Amazon. Get a drone. Shane goes, I'm not droning it here.
Dude, I specifically told you guys that we're not campers, we're gamers. We don't fucking camp. We camp in video games, but we don't camp in real life.
Well, then here's what made it even better.
And then
I lit a potato chip on fire because I got a kettle chip. And I said, Shane, do you see this? Do you see how this potato chip is still on fire after lighting the edge of it? And he goes, yeah. And I threw the potato chip in and the fire lit up. And I said, Shane, that's how you do magic. Welcome to being a warlock. And then I scared the shit out of Shane by going to YouTube and finding the scene from Evil Dead 1 where they turn on the tape recorder and they start playing the doctor reading from the Book of the Dead. Shane's like, turn that off! Turn that off now!
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. First off, to answer build, we had nothing to worry about because we weren't gonna freeze. It was fucking September.
We were gonna die, Shane. We were gonna die, and you were gonna let us die because you're cheap. This was our chance to be a part of history. Do you see? Do you see this? Do you see? Remember when Amazon had drones? Do you see? No, we don't, because we never got to experience that because Shane is all cheap and shit.
You're damn right. You're damn right. I'm cheap. And
I was trying to be a part of history, man. I was trying to be on the cutting edge and have a life experience, and you were just trying to save $20. $20?
It's like it was like $800.
Yeah, but you were already paying that much money for Amazon.
I don't pay for Amazon.
You did.
I never paid for Amazon.
At that point in time, you said you were paying for Amazon because that was when Prime first started.
That was
her. Like, oh yeah, I could watch me a bunch of TV shows and stuff.
Just saying, Shane, you ruined our chance of being a part of history.
Yep.
Well, in hindsight, I saved money, and that was a good thing because now I can't afford shit.
I guess that's fair. But
that's true.
We missed out on a life experience, Shane, and it'll forever be your fault.
Well, I'm dealing with a much different life experience that I'm having so much fun with.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I enjoyed that life experience myself, sir.
Oh, yeah.
It was a fun experience.
That's true.
That's why talking about what we're going to talk about is going to be very exciting because, like I told Seth before, I texted Seth. Because, no offense, Bill. Your ass works day shift. I didn't think you were going to answer the phone at like 2 a.m.
Technically,
I guess that's fair.
You texted me at 11:30 at night. You were like,
dude, I did. I knew you weren't going to be awake, Bill, but like I knew Seth was, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my opinion, and in fact, unfortunately, my opinion is fact. X-Men '97 is probably the best thing Marvel's produced ever.
Ooh, ever?
I don't know about ever.
I'm talking about, and since
recency biased. I'm going to call that recency biased. You're excited about a shiny new thing.
Oh no, I've watched a lot of Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you consider the fact that I've watched almost all the TV shows except for Loki season 2, Secret Invasion. I swear to God, I think that might be the only 2 that I have.
Daredevil's better.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
It's a better series.
Well,
it's really not that I dislike X-Men 97 at all, but if you're going to compare character development, like stakes, and the idea of dead people stay dead, and consequences,
Shit, dude. Let me tell you this right now. Character development alone, they did better writing, and you can tell that easily because I don't hate Cyclops.
I liked X-Men 97 a lot. But also, X-Men 97 is rushed like a motherfucker. We don't get to marinate or sit with anything.
No, I know. I get that. They're trying many different stories.
They did the Goblin Queen
in one episode.
And the sending of Nathan in one episode. They did the reveal of Madeline Pryor, the exposure of Madeline Pryor, the introduction of Sinister, basically the entire Inferno event, all of the Goblin Queen, and the sending away of Nathan in 22 minutes. Is that cool? Did it get us running? Sure. Was it done well? Yes. But holy shit, you're talking about an entire season squished down to 22 minutes. Like, I like this show a lot, but damn, they don't let you sit with anything.
So it sounds like I need this here piece of paper then.
Yeah.
So, Welcome to Fandom Night, the show that is as angsty as Wolverine.
So,
Well, at the same time, when you talk about Marvel, like you brought up that Daredevil series and stuff.
yeah.
Maybe I should have said that. Maybe I should have specified and said that X-Men '97 is the best thing Marvel's done outside of the MCU, since X-Men '97 is not part of the MCU.
I guess that's
Ooh,
fair.
but kind of. See,
I'm a-
because I got a thing. It's called a note. See, I don't know if you can see it because like my phone, like it's
I
really
can
tiny.
I can
But, like,
see a lot of
down
words.
down here it says like page 1 of 17 for these here notes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these here notes kind of says, "Ooh, no, it might slightly be tied into the MCU because there's a thing." I don't think you noticed it, but there's a thing.
Obviously, if it's tied into the MCU, they did that just recently because we all know that the '90s series was out before
Right.
the MCU was a
Yeah,
concept.
Oh, yeah.
they are doing it, they're shoehorning it because the
Yes.
'90s series
Yep.
you would have to encompass the idea that means the X-Men and stuff happening in the '90s series had to have been going on with all the Avengers movies and stuff that
Yep.
very obviously wasn't. But I mean, I get the idea.
Right.
in my opinion, because it was never meant to be in the MCU, shoehorning it into the MCU isn't the smartest move in my opinion. It doesn't need to be a part of the MCU. It's
No.
good enough. In my opinion, it's good enough to stand on its own.
Now, while X-Men '97 is incredibly solid, and there's a lot of recency bias, everybody loves it right now. So this
Right.
isn't me like trying to go against the grain. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I was getting irritated at Shane for not keeping up with it because I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
Same.
First off, no. I was waiting for somebody to watch it.
that's not the
yes, we
information
know.
that
You-
I was given, sir.
Yeah, I was told last week after we got not last week, but last episode when we came in here and we did our live, I was told after Bill said, "Hey, I gotta go get the wife by," and he fucked off, and you and me talked. You're like, "Yeah, I'm watching it with the wife. We're on episode 3." I said, "Shane, you need to catch up."
Well,
And you said, "Well, but I'm going to work on it, but like me and the wife are watching it together." I said, "Then you need to sit her ass the fuck down and watch it."
Well,
There's the kicker right there because she came over to my house and told me that she wanted to watch it 3 different occasions, but he was gaming.
Was she? Did she also? Well, see. Now
So-
here's the issue. Now here's the issue that nobody sees except for me
Okay.
because you don't live here,
Oh, I know that.
so you guys
Yeah.
don't see what I see. And there was no point of watching that series with her because here's the issue: because she hadn't seen the '90s series in so long, she didn't retain any information. So
Okay.
when you go into '97, she has like, I don't know what is going on because I'm like, yes, this is a continuation of the '90s series.
Right, it's trying to pick up almost exactly where it left off. I mean, there is a time.
I think it's only a year though.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's
It's
literally
only-
my third note. Is it takes place 1 year,
Year
after the
after the-
original season
Right.
finale.
Mm-hmm. So because it does take legitimately right where the other one left off. If you haven't watched the '90s series in a long time, there are references and stuff you are going to forget. You forgot like when they deal with my wife didn't even know what the fuck a Morlock was, but
Well, Shane, here's what you needed to do. You needed to go to Fandom Night on YouTube, and you needed to pull up Comics Toss, because I busted my ass editing them fucking episodes to get us up to Thank You. And technically, I've got 2 more episodes ready to go that haven't been posted.
Yep, yeah, they are. They're ready. It's just a matter of, I'm trying to debate whether I should put those episodes to go live on the Saturdays that we're not here, or if we should try to get like a midweek type of thing. And I don't think the premieres are very hit and miss right now. I'm having a lot of
Right.
trouble figuring out what to do with them because it seems like the premieres, they might start off and go pretty strong, and then people are talking and we're kind of discussing and whatnot, and then they just die fast, like really fast.
It's because we're not actually there.
It's possible.
There's not as much interaction because while some of us are in those episodes messaging the fans.
Yeah, while we're in the chat.
In the chat, but that's it. It's not a lot. It's not us talking about. We already recorded it. We already did the episode. It's already done. It's just posted, and you guys are listening to it again.
Right.
And we're just talking about it. I think that because it's not like a normal, like it's already done. It loses something. I think a lot of people much prefer our live stuff like we're doing now because we're talking, and we're also talking about something that the season just ended like 3 days ago, so like it's still very fresh.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's new, it's shiny. People are loving it,
Yeah.
and they want to see people talk about it and get people's opinions and what they think about it. And
so before we go into this, there's a lot of cameos in
Jesus
this. There's a lot of
Christ.
cameos that are real cameos, and there are a lot of cameos that are unreal cameos, like Morph. And can I just say, I had an argument with somebody about Morph
about fucking
when
broken.
we were
here.
talking about X-Men. I had myself an argument with a member of the cast, and I could not convince him that Morph's powers are weird. Something is weird because Morph, when he transforms, he seems to be able to do things that the others can't do. Like when Mystique turns into a person, she's just it's a camouflage. She just looks like it. Morph seems to get their powers for it doesn't seem to last long. Like she could stay in disguise for like years at a time, but she doesn't seem to get any powers or anything from it. But then like he can turn into somebody and literally be the Hulk for like 30 seconds.
Yes,
and even scream morph smash.
Right.
I mean, it
does seem to change his physical components because he does seem to be using the actual elements of the characters. He became the Juggernaut.
And he had the Juggernaut's power.
And maybe it was on a lower scale. That's hard to guarantee, but there's no doubt it was not morph biology.
When you finish an episode and they do that,
and to this question, did Morph ever replicate powers? I don't remember that at all. I think I remember things like he could become somebody like Angel and he could fly because like wings, but I don't remember him being able to like turn into Cyclops and shoot optic blasts. And if he can do those things, and he definitely can do it here, if he can do those things, he is the strongest X-Men in existence. In fact, I would argue that Morph being a thing makes the X-Men stupid. They're dumb. They're fucking dumb. Because here they are like, Magneto turned the power off. Morph, go up there, turn the power on.
Yep.
We're done. We don't have to go to the asteroid. We could just fly the Blackbird up to the Arctic and be like, Morph, do what he did. Wow, wow, wow. And then fucking Magneto be like, hey, who turned the power back on? What the fuck?
And then Magneto would have to come back down to fucking deal with it.
How come Morph just doesn't do that? Because he could just be anybody and just... He turned into Psylocke and used her blade. That's psychokinetic energy.
Like you said before, he turned into the Hulk and said Hulk smash.
Yeah.
And he fucking
turned into
smashing.
fucking Lady Deathstrike against Executioner and literally slashed the shit up out of him before he said, nope, we're done with that.
And that also means that those blades from Lady Deathstrike, they were like blades. And that's what I'm getting at with Morph. That means that in some way he was using powers that were at least comparable.
Yep.
he becomes Sabretooth and has like a fun little sparring match with Wolverine. Argue what you want, but if he turns into Sabretooth and he gets all the strength and agility of Sabretooth, where does it stop?
Right.
Because obviously he was using powers. And like right here, Morph became Mr. Fantastic and was stretching around the place.
Yep.
So that means when he becomes a person, he seems to get their powers. Now he says that Morph became Rogue and did not absorb powers, but did he try? I think he was just using strength.
You know what's sad is I literally spent the last 2 days.
Yeah, right here.
fucking rewatching it.
Yep, right here. I'm sorry, I had to look up more of Morph's abilities. Basically,
Oh, you mean Changeling?
Yeah,
yes.
he's actually Changeling, and then he was kind of
Well,
he was kind of smashed together with Morph in a kind of amalgamation during the Exiles, if I remember right, which is kind of like a multiverse X-Men, kind of like a Spider-Verse of the X-Men with a bunch of what-if scenarios and stuff like that. It was real popular.
Morph's real name is Kevin Sidney, and Changeling. Basically, what he can do is when he transforms into people, if they have a physical mutation, such as like what Angel has,
Okay.
or he can copy their power. Like, for example, I just read it, if he can turn into Wolverine, but when he uses his adamantium claws, they're much more fragile. He doesn't have the same, when he gets their powers, he gets them, but he gets them at a much more dumbed down level.
But he still gets them. Okay, so this is real simple. He turns into Magneto, and we amplify his powers because we have mutant amplification technology. We've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, they have.
He just turns the power back on.
Dude, it's crazy because
he's broken.
He is.
Broken.
I was talking with my wife about it, and I'm like, listen, the fact that Morph can turn into anybody, and he has no limit. He can turn into anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to like touch them or like.
No, he does not need anything.
That's interesting too. He's not just taking the form. He's
just
by sight or just by knowing that the guy exists. He became the Hulk. See, that's another thing. If physical mutation, he became the Hulk. That is arguably not a physical mutation. I mean, I guess maybe depending on how you want to make the argument, but then there's the other. He turns into Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic's body has been altered by the cosmic forces of the universe. The reason the Fantastic Four are broken, because they are broken, the reason they're so strong is because they're cosmic level power good guys.
And okay, so here's what it is. Okay, I'm gonna read it real quick, and you guys can do with you want.
Right.
So Morph is a shapeshifter, transforming his body and voice to impersonate anybody he desires, much like Mystique. While he can approximate the powers of people with physical mutations, he is unable to gain the powers of any other mutant he turns into, nor are his natural shifted weapons as strong as synthetic materials. For example, if he becomes Wolverine, his claws are more fragile than the latter's adamantium claws. Does that help you guys with anything?
Basically all that's saying then is, while yes, he does have the ability to, like Mystique, chameleon himself into somebody else, he would still gain some of their powers, but not like enough to be Omega level, basically.
He's not an Omega level mutant because, God, could you imagine if, oh my God, Morph is already.
If he was really fucking smart about it, if he actually trained and was really fucking smart about it, he could literally turn his fucking body into Magneto, change his head into fucking Storm, and then just go Thunderbolt and literally fuck them up, and as they're being zapped by the lightning, throw the motherfucker into space and be done with it.
Well, but there's also like so Emma Frost, okay? She has this ability because she's a telepath. She can modify and expand a mutant's power. When she took over Bobby, she used him at an Omega level. Power he didn't even understand he had. And then she told him, oh, it's there. You just don't know how to use it yet. So that means you just go get Emma out of the hospital and like, hey, they turned the power off.
Yep. Well, to be fair, Jean should be able to do it too, because Jean can suppress Cyclops' power to where he can, take his fucking
Gene
glasses off.
is Gene is also a little bit of a very, very, very weird thing because if you paid attention to Madeline,
Mm-hmm.
um, Jean's strong enough where she can literally manipulate fucking reality. She
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't fucking do it.
Yeah, she
Whereas
just
when
doesn't do
Madeline
it.
goes fucking crazy, she literally sent them to, not a joke, the ninth circle of hell,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
well,
which
also
does
Madeline.
exist in the Marvel universe.
Madeline basically took the gloves off.
Yeah.
Like, you got to understand that Jean is holding back a lot. Her goal isn't to like kill somebody. It's to
Jean.
stop somebody. It's to hurt somebody. It's to incapacitate somebody. When the gloves come off, Jean is monstrously powerful.
And
Hmm.
you get to see that in X-Men '97.
You
Not
get
not
to see some of it when she's fighting
Yeah.
against Sinister,
and
but
then
not
and
enough for it to actually mean anything until the Phoenix shows up and goes, "Oh, you almost died? No, we can't do that. You're my
my
fucking connection for
my
now."
my question is though is that because she was the Phoenix before, does her powers and everything kind of work like Goku? When Goku tasted God power, he was able
No.
to
Okay, so
No.
the Phoenix Force is a weird thing.
because
Sometimes when the Phoenix bonds with you, it can leave a trace factor behind. This has
it's
happened with a
Hmm.
couple of characters.
it leaves a psychic.
No. It leaves part of itself. It's way
Yeah.
beyond psychic resonance. You literally are holding a small fraction of a god inside of you. And at some point, you might choose to use it. This
Which
has happened a couple of times. Once, it happened with Emma Frost, where she purposely held on to a small fragment of the Phoenix inside of herself for years
until she needed it.
before one time she actually used it. And another one that used it, I'm trying to remember his name, but for a time, Jubilee was a vampire.
Yes.
Hmm.
And she got thrown out of the mansion during the daylight into the sun and was going to die. And I can't remember, is his name Nate? I can't
Nate.
remember.
I don't know. It
I don't
depends
know
on
why, but
who
my
you're talking
mind
about.
isn't focusing on his name right now. But there is an X-Man who he's kind of a punk. He's part of the younger X-Men groups. I think he's got pink hair.
What's his power?
I can't remember for the life of me. I can't believe I can't remember who he is. I think he was part of Generation X.
Oh, that makes sense because Jubilee's part of that.
Yeah. And I
Because Emma,
can't remember for the life of me right now what his name was. I don't know why. My mind is playing a blank on me.
because
But
doesn't Emma,
he had a small portion of the Phoenix, and he used it to not only save Jubilee's life but restore all of her mutant powers. He cured her of the vampire disease, restored her life, and gave her all of her original powers back and made her a mutant again.
is it
That's how she's Jubilee again in the comics.
is
So
his name?
so that means that there's a very real possibility that because Jean was the Phoenix, she's holding a small fragment of that power. And for one moment, when it was absolutely needed, she just used it. Now it's
Yeah.
gone. It should be gone. Unless they should not be able to ex machina that. This has seen its way into comics. Quentin Quire. Thank
Wait,
you.
why?
That's
Yes,
his fucking name.
Okay.
That's who he is. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That's
Well,
right.
I was just about to tell you that it is. I looked it up and I found Quentin Quire
Yep.
too.
So
So
Quentin Quire saves Jubilee. During Generation X, she got thrown out of the mansion during a fight while she was a vampire. She started burning alive, and Quentin
right.
used the last of the Phoenix Force that was still in him that he'd been holding on to for years to basically
To-
give her everything back. So this does happen when the Phoenix touches you. It leaves a little
A little bit of
speck of God where it left.
and
And
it had put Bastion on notice. He's like,
right.
fuck, it's the damn Phoenix. Like
So
I'm
basically she's been holding on to that forever. And in this one moment when everything mattered, when there was no way out, she just used it. Now it should be gone. And she said the Phoenix is gone.
Yeah,
I
she did.
imagine that what she's technically referring to, and this could get into massive debate, but what she's referring to on an X-Men comic book scale, what I've seen play out, it probably means that she's burned off the remnant. She used it.
She may have, but it's most definitely not gone if you know your fucking X-Men, which I know you do, Bill. Because the very last episode, when major spoiler warning, when Jean and Scott end up in the future,
Yes.
and they see young Nathan,
Yes.
as well as Rachel.
Now,
Rachel Summers, who's the old lady with the hood.
Now, Rachel, see, I'm curious what they're going to do here, because Rachel, when she was introduced in the comics, she was a hound.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're playing way past that point.
Oh yeah, because she's old as hell now. She's like literally like she's like got to be in her like 80s, and she's like she's leading that group of
yeah, because
survivors.
she's going by the mother Asante.
Yeah, mother Asante. Yep.
Yeah.
And what's quite, I don't know, man. Like that last episode. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I already told you, Seth, when what happened in episode 6 was quite wild. Was I expecting at least one of them to possibly die? Yes.
Yes.
Did I expect to be Gambit? Well, once I knew what storyline they were going to go run with, when you watched the last episode, then everything made sense. He had to die. Yeah. He has to die.
Yeah, he has to die.
And I like in the same episode, or it wasn't the same episode. It was the next episode where Xavier takes front and center for that episode because he's with the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's and then when he has that psychic vision and he sees Gambit and he's a skeleton, even right there, I was like, ah, shit, look at that. Look at that, he's a horseman right now because he's a skeleton. Oh, that's so scary. Mm-hmm. You know, the horseman of death, which I did not. That was the one thing I did not know. I had to look at. I looked it up. I know Gambit.
You didn't need to look it up, motherfucker. I told you. Go watch Creepy Grandma's Creepy.
Yeah, Creepy Grandma is creepy. We actually talk about every single horseman.
I got the horseman wrong. You see, I thought Wolverine was death and Gambit.
Wolverine does become death at one point in time. I thought in that one he's war.
I thought Gambit was pestilence. Come to find out, no, Gambit is death. Yeah, in that instance, Gambit is death, and I believe Wolverine ends up being war. Because I'm actually trying to look it up right now. I looked it up. I looked it up the other day, and Gambit becomes death, and then after he's death, when Wolverine gets made into a horseman, he becomes the new death.
Okay, so they were both the same.
They were both death.
Okay.
I always thought Gambit was like pestilence or something. I didn't know he was death.
So here's a question. Here's a wild question. They just ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine.
Oh my god, dude, that was so fucking wild.
So here's a question. If, say, Marvel wants to start a new idea, they want to run, I'm just put this out there. They want an animated multiverse, an animated continuing saga, connected universe.
Okay.
Could we see a standalone Wolverine series? Because Wolverine went back to his own comic book after losing the adamantium and did a whole bunch of stuff as Bone Claw Wolverine. You could see an entire series that follows just Wolverine dealing with the aftermath of no longer having the adamantium and losing nearly 70% of his healing factor.
I feel like what they're going to do...
You could also see Spider-Man come back.
Well,
and by the way, they did something.
I love that, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love?
I love the two scenes of Spider-Man that you get to see.
Okay.
When he's swinging in the city after Magneto shuts the planet off.
Right.
And when I saw that, I was thinking, okay, so now you brought him in the X-Men '97's animation style. Now I know you guys can do Spider-Man. So go ahead and do Spider-Man now
Right,
too.
right. What else did you
But
like?
I loved when I saw Peter and Mary Jane just
There,
standing.
no. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's not the actual Mary Jane.
No. Are they
No.
skipping the fact that she's gone?
Yep.
She does not. They don't save Mary Jane. People skip over this. The end of Spider-Man is a tragedy. Mary Jane is revealed to be a clone with Hydra Man DNA.
Yes,
she
yes,
dies.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
She's dead. Then they don't replace her. They go through an entire Spider-Verse type of thing, and at the end, she's not saved. They simply remark that basically they found Mary Jane. They can go get her. But there's no actual closure. The series just ends. She was never saved in that series. She is still missing somewhere.
So somehow in the 1 year gap, since Spider-Man and X-Men were taking place at the same time,
He must have saved her.
he must have saved her in
But they're
that 1
skipping
year.
an awful lot of trauma. Where was she?
They're also skipping a lot of other shit too, because who was standing behind them, Shane?
I have to go back.
He was holding the giant duffel bag, Shane.
When I saw Peter and Mary Jane, that was the only people I was focused on, to be honest with
Eddie
you.
Brock walks up behind them.
Yes.
Where's the symbiote? Because I don't think Gargan has it at this point. I think Eddie still has the symbiote.
So, just to put a box on this one, she's back in Spider-Man Unlimited. Spider-Man Unlimited is not a continuation of the 90s series Spider-Man continuity. It's just not.
Nope.
But I didn't mind seeing. Yes, I know that Mary Jane was a clone by Hydra.
And that's a very
Man.
real possibility. The animation style
Yeah.
could be throwing it off, because Jake also says he believes that to be Flash Thompson. It's arguable. I need to look at him again to guarantee, because my mind's eye isn't picking up on it as either at this point in time. But I do remember a blonde guy behind them.
Right, exactly.
What I'm gonna do?
I'm so pissed off about that too. Fucking Daredevil makes his cameo and gets fucking rocked into the side of a fucking building. Like, how you gonna fucking bitch Daredevil like that?
He was kicking some ass, and like when he's taking care of like looters and shit.
Rioters and looters, and
But
they're like,
they just tossed his ass aside.
Because this is not his show.
You're talking about a guy who, as a human being, has been able to outmaneuver and out-agility Spider-Man. Not that he can keep it up,
Captain America,
but he has been able to do it. He's been able to fight hand-to-hand Captain America 4 different occasions that I know of and win in hand-to-hand combat. Martial arts prowess.
Speaking of fucking Captain America,
and they just bitched him. He was like, I got some billy clubs, brown. Oh, fuck, I'm done.
Not to mention, fucking, speaking of Cap, fucking the like 2 times that we get to see Cap do anything. Fucking first is when Rogue is processing all of Gambit's death, and she just fucking goes in and fucking goes into that military installation where fucking Thunderbolt Ross is, and I'm like, well, at least we know he can't Red Hulk right now. Yeah, exactly, Jake. Frisbee. She fucking literally, she goes, oh, so you're not able to help us? You gotta wait behind the bureaucratic red tape? Oh, fucking you don't need that.
Right.
Go get it, bitch.
His face, as she flew off, he was like, what a bitch. Like, you can see it in his face. He was like, I gotta go get that shit now, bitch.
And then the next time that we see him, he's literally standing there, and him and T'Chaka are the only 2 people talking real fucking sense. Which tells me that if it goes to season 2, I hope to God that they end up doing the whole storyline where fucking Storm goes back to fucking Africa, meets T'Challa, and they actually get fucking married.
That would be cool.
Right.
By the way, thank you, X-Men 97, for putting my favorite costume in the series. Thank you.
Same.
The original black costume, the Storm costume, that is
Yes.
my favorite costume. The original Storm costume is my favorite costume ever. Followed
I
by a
love-
couple of other variants, but that is my all-time favorite Storm costume.
Same with Mohawk. I swear to God, them motherfuckers on that writing staff listened to TOS when we had originally put it out as a podcast like 4 or 5 fucking years ago, because 7 or 8 different things that we talked about in terms of like favorite costumes, favorite designs, favorite this, favorite that, they literally touched on every single one of them. I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude,
So I don't. I'll admit, I'm only on season 2. I'm kind of going back through Spider-Man with Gwen because she watched like the first 4 episodes when I turned it on one day because I was going to watch it, and she was like, "Don't watch this without me." And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's fine." But Jared here says that could be a flashback of MJ and Peter since Eddie Brock got knocked into a portal at the end of a big brawl with Carnage and Dormammu. I don't remember Venom being removed from the series at a near permanent aspect. I do remember Mary Jane falling into the portal that was created by the Green Goblin, and she never comes back. She never comes back.
So if they revitalize the Spider-Man series and do a continuation like they're doing with the X-Men, maybe they'll explain it or show us it. But like I said, within the year that Spider-Man ended and 97 takes place, he had to have gotten Mary Jane back because obviously she's standing right there. Unless, once again, it's not really her. Because
what are you talking about, Jake? Eddie Brock was never blonde. Am I misremembering? I'm almost 100% sure he was blonde in that series.
I always thought he had brown hair.
Does he?
I always thought he had brown hair. I don't remember.
I could be misremembering. It has been a while.
Let me look it up. You're talking about from the 90s
but
series?
I thought for sure that I remembered him having blonde
Not sure
hair.
in the 90s series, but hold on, because I just saved me a
I know in the
picture.
comic books he has some blonde hair in different. I know I've seen him with blonde hair in comic books.
That's literally what I just grabbed is in the comics. I'm presuming because that definitely is McFarlane. So yes.
In the 90s series, Eddie Brock had that reddish color that kind of like Harry and Norman have.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be brown, but it looks kind of like a reddish.
Kind of like a real dirty blonde. Is that what you're talking about?
No. Like if you look up his picture from the 90s series, I have it right here. I'm looking right at it, and he looks like it's supposed to be brown hair, but it looks like it's got a reddish color.
Yeah, it's like a brownish red.
Yeah.
But that's if you're going with, because I'm looking at it too.
Yeah, that's what
if you go into the other one, let's see, damn it, which one was it? The Ultimates. If you go into the Spider-Man Ultimate or whatever the fuck, he's blonde again.
Yeah, now in this picture,
okay, so Ultimate Spider-Man, sure, but like, in terms of this series,
right?
If there was a blonde guy standing behind them, because in the 90s series he was brown hair, he wasn't a blonde guy, even though he was blonde in the comic books. They changed that, so it is possible that the guy standing behind them was supposed to be Flash.
Which that's fine.
But still. Just to put this out there, still could be Venom.
Yeah.
Depending on where they want to go
and
with the time skip and the series in general, they could move him in that direction if we went there on a Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
Mr. Anti-Idiotic is hoping to see Phantom X in season 2.
Because they could quite literally, if that is supposed to be fucking Flash in there, they could turn him into that Agent Venom or whatever.
Actually, when you look back at
it, he says that he was wearing the Letterman jacket.
He is.
Yeah. So that would be Flash's character design. But Mary Jane is there, so we're just skipping the recovery of Mary Jane if we do a Spider-Man series. If we did a 97 Spider-Man series, and also, by the way, how crazy do you think they would get with that? Would a 97 Spider-Man series be taking place at the same time and have to deal with some of the repercussion and fallout that his season finale would have to coincide alongside the loss of power across all of the world? You get what I'm saying? Because if they play it right, they have to take everything that happened in X-Men 97, and then they have to play that into a Spider-Man 97, and these events have to be happening. Not that Spider-Man has to deal with them directly, but they have to be happening. When the whole world loses power, that has to happen. When there's a sentinel outbreak of weird genetic sentinels, that has to happen. Or else we're playing comic books again where two events are taking place at the same time that couldn't possibly take place at the same time, and we just have to ignore them and like whatever show we like.
Well, hold on. Let me go down to the end of my notes.
What?
Comics, Magneto was a... Damn it. I thought I fucking wrote it down. But yeah, I think the
Before
actual
you start,
ending...
Jake, Venom and Carnage are not gone. Doesn't matter. They're not gone in the comics right now, and we've killed them, boiled them alive, hit them, trapped them, thrown them in a volcano. They're coming back. Like,
and
the 90s series would not lose Venom and Carnage.
You can't
to be fair, if we were to end up doing a Spider-Man 97, there's a very good chance that they could end up dealing with all of the I don't know. There's that darkness on the very edge of the universe, like a dark planet where the symbiotes fucking come from. We could just get a fucking another one. But yeah, because like I was saying before that, quick interruption there. I can't remember, but I know right before fucking not Cable, good lord, fucking Bishop walks back into the X-Mansion where fucking Forge has the literal comic cover on the wall of missing, dead, fucking,
I saw that.
Shit.
Off-world for some of them. Like,
yeah. They've got Scarlet Witch as marked as off-world, and I'm like, I wonder what she's doing.
Well, according
Probably
to
hexes.
So that's another question too, is if they followed it up, right? And they did an Avengers 97, which would be technically the first Avengers series, because there wasn't an Avengers series for the 90s. That wasn't a thing, so that continuity isn't there. There was, in that time, and it's arguable whether any of it was actually connected, but in that time, Marvel was running Spider-Man, X-Men, Iron Man, Hulk.
And Fantastic Four.
And there was a Fantastic Four show.
Yep.
So that would be the main block, and then if you did something like Avengers and you added it in, you would have to explain what the Avengers were doing during all of the 97. Like when the Avengers just stood there.
I already know.
Yep.
I already know what they were doing.
Oh, what were they doing?
I actually I read up on some stuff after I watched the show because I wanted to be really prepared for this episode.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So what I found out was during the events of when of the asteroid M thing, when Magneto shut the Earth off.
Yeah.
Why did you only see Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, and then you saw the Defenders in the streets of New York?
Yep.
You saw Spider-Man. The reason why the rest of the Avengers weren't there is because they're all...
You saw Stephen Strange sitting in a hospital working.
Oh, yeah, yes. I did forget about Doctor Strange. He was in surgery. The rest of the Avengers are off-world helping the Shi'ar.
Oh, yeah?
Are they? Because it looked like fucking Deathbird was whooping the literal fuck out of Ronan the Accuser by herself with no fucking problems.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was thinking,
so
man,
why would they be out there helping the Shi'ar?
Here's the thing: you can't look at comic books. The X-Men 97 series is its own series, and they've already changed huge parts of the comic mythology, like the fact that the X-Men. The X-Men that were chosen to do some of the stuff, the 90s series of X-Men are not the X-Men that were in the comics. That's not a fucking thing. Yep. It was different fucking teams. So the events that play out, while they might kind of coincide, they're different because the characters and interactions are different. And so putting that into perspective, what are the Avengers doing? They could, as long as it coincides with the story that's told, they could do almost anything. But specifically, what I watched the Avengers do is they're standing in there with the senators and the president and whatnot. Some signals come through the roof. They look at them. Then some stuff goes down and it goes back, and they're still just looking at them.
Yep.
Like, if you watch that scene, it shows, like, what a lot of the heroes are doing. They're out there fighting in the streets and stuff like that. It shows...
Except for, like, Silver Samurai, who's standing there being all menacing.
Yep. It shows... It literally shows Captain America and Iron Man standing there. And then, like, some time passes and it goes back to that scene.
And they go...
And they're still just standing there. And I'm like, how about you do something? Like, that was your chance to show Captain America and Iron Man in a quick little scene where they beat up some guys or something to kind of sell the idea that maybe other series are in the works. But instead, they just stood there.
You guys got to do something. I mean, listen. When you make me believe that Jubilee has become a badass... when she fucking dodged that move by Bastion and blew his fucking face up.
You like that they gave her the Destructo disc?
Yes! I love
You know what I liked? I liked the fact that Rogue got clap at level 1. She said, "Bop!"
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Dude, I loved that. I loved every moment of that fight, because she beats the shit out of him, and then he's like, you know what, bitch? Eat this clap! Right in your face. And since I've got, like, obviously I've got, like, the strength of the Hulk, because that fucking bunker that's supposed to keep the Hulk out, Rogue got in fairly easy.
It's supposed to keep the Hulk
in. Yes, and I guess...
Which you would argue would make it hard to get in?
You would think. But yet,
I guess
like,
not.
you know, my daddy always said that it was easier breaking into
prison than break out.
And she made it look so easy. Like, no problem whatsoever.
Plus, it's not to mention, fucking, not to cut you off, but, like, that big fight at the end, fucking, you get the Motendo episode, and you're like, this is such a
loved it.
Off, like,
dude,
I know, but I'm
Mojo,
like,
buddy.
And did you catch that the old Jubilee that appears in that episode is the original voice actress?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
Yep. In fact, I even made notes of that, because the only people who ended up being the exact same were Beast, Wolverine, Storm, but Storm is a weird thing because the voice actress that we got for here didn't come in until, like, the middle of season 2, if not season 3, so it's 50-50.
We got the voice actor for Storm in 97 is the voice actor for Storm from season 2 on.
Okay. Yeah, but there's also a problem with that. Some people never heard the other one. Just like they did with Real Ghostbusters. So this is a problem with every time you're going to buy a new piece of media, do a mild little bit of research. If you buy the Real Ghostbusters and you start watching it and you bought an older set of DVDs, you bought a newer set of DVDs, you won't hear the voice actor on Peter who played Garfield. You'll hear Dave Coulier from Full House, because they actually went back with Dave Coulier and the woman that took over Janine, and they revoiced the entire series. And if you're watching X-Men on Hulu, we had to talk about this in the show.
Yep.
There is a different voice actress doing the lines for Storm on the Hulu series than there is on the DVDs, because after the DVDs, they went back and they redubbed some of it. So that kind of stuff happens. So if you're not paying close attention, or you watch a newer version or an older version, you might have a completely different idea. Like when he says, they changed the voice actress. If we notice that, there may be some people that never did. Oh, here's a fun one. Dragon Ball Z. We watched all the way to right before Captain Ginyu. Right before Captain Ginyu's feet touched the ground, we were watching the Ocean dub.
And then all of a sudden, Goku sounds like Sean Shamil, because
the very next episode, while we're watching it in live broadcast, all of a sudden, Ginyu's feet touch the ground, and And everybody's voice is different. Literally everybody. Nobody sounded the same. I remember as a kid being like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it literally took me aback. I had no clue what had just taken place. Exactly. And now, people that get into Dragon Ball Z now never heard those other voices at all. They don't know about weird, snarly, snacky Vegeta. They don't know about, like, super loud, ridiculous Piccolo. They don't know about, like, nasally Krillin. Like, they don't know about screaming Lady Goku.
I showed my wife the Ocean dub, the fight between Goku and Vegeta, and I had her watch that beam struggle that they had in the Ocean dubbed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, while the Ocean dub got the translation wrong, I mean, we got the translation wrong for years. He's still going to call it the Kaioken. Just ignore it. We all know it's the Kaioken. But the extra effects that they added for their voice acting was really so neat.
Yes. No, it's true, because they echo and there's huge reverberation during beams and
you can hear their energy gathering when they're about to fire. You can hear the energy gathering before they fire it.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. There are things in the Ocean dub that stand out. And did you know? Because I did not know. Did you know there is a very rare and hard to obtain line of DVDs and show the Ocean dub actors actually finished the series.
Nice.
They actually continue all the way up to the end of the Boo Saga. And you can find it online. I found the comparisons where they show Majin Vegeta and they have the other guy voicing it, because the Ocean dub actually did continue to completion. But we never got to see it.
I would love to watch it.
I don't know how you get it, but I have seen the comparison scenes, and it's really wild to now hear the Vegeta of my childhood doing things that I never seen him or heard him do, because his voice was altered, changed. It's really weird. If I could find the video comparisons, I'll send them to you. And then if you could find out how we actually watched that whole thing, that would be awesome.
I would love to watch it.
I'm looking at you.
Well,
you own it.
Well, the reason... Anyway. The only
now, I know, by the way, before we continue, Jared found us specifically from our live-action Spider-Man reviews and says that he's been a fan ever since.
Right.
Which I can understand that. Because, once you see that Spider-Man that fights Captain America...
But I was saying, real quick to finish it though, Shane. So Beast was the same, Wolvie was the same, Storm was the same, Rogue was the same, Nightcrawler was the same, Mr. Sinister was the same, and Gambit, the original voice actor for Gambit, was Cable in '97.
Yes. They did change the voice actor for Gambit. They had to change the voice actor for Magneto and Cyclops because that guy is no longer alive.
Yep.
So they had to change their voice actors, which arguably, I'm going to be honest with you, I think they did a good job.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think anybody was necessarily miscast. If I had any problem, and this is... Who did you think was the worst?
The worst voice
Even
actor?
if everybody is great, somebody's the worst.
For a little while, and only because the guy is older, so his voice did change some, because it doesn't sound like the exact same. I hear it now. As I watched all 10 episodes, I started to finally hear it, but at the beginning, I thought it was Wolverine.
I thought it was Rogue. Rogue really bothers me. In the first 3 episodes, Rogue sounds scratchy, like she's way older than she should be. Like, she sounds like an old woman.
And we know that because her voice actor is older.
And that's fine, but right. It did really throw me off. It's kind of the same situation as you. I did hear it with Wolverine, but I heard it a lot more with Rogue. And it took time for me to acclimate and be like, okay, I hear it. It's right. It's on. She's kicking ass. Right. But it is jarring to hear the voices change when you have the attachment that we do. Like, we watch
Right.
this, we know it, we remember scenes, we remember exact ways dialogue were said. Like, you egg-sucking
and no.
piece of gutter trash.
Yep, yep,
I was
yep,
gonna
yep.
say yes and no because again, if you go back and listen to the first couple episodes of TOS, we literally had an argument. We're like, oh yeah, no, because like Sinister's in season 2, and we're like, no, Sinister happens at the end of this. We're like, wait, what? Well, wasn't Phoenix in like season 3? No, Phoenix is literally next season.
Yep.
The fuck?
Yeah, 2. She showed up
Oh
fast.
yeah, we misremember some stuff, but yes, we do remember a bit.
But that's what I mean. Like Rogue really threw me, and I did hear it with Wolverine, but I got over it way faster.
I did.
Like, it took
I
me
did.
maybe one episode to get over Wolverine.
I think Gyrick was like for me the worst, but only because we went from so ma'am.
Oh yeah.
Where's your
Yeah.
daughter hanging out with to but Storm, don't you get it? You're in vogue. You're my mutant friend.
Yeah.
Once again, going back to an argument that we had with He Who Shall Remain Nameless about how fucking X-Men is about fucking people of color and the LGBTQ plus community and fucking anybody who's different who's fighting for their place in the world.
Yep.
No, it's not. It's about superheroes and they save the day and your good guys are good and your bad guy is bad.
No, X-Men.
Okay,
is
so then why the fuck does Rogue side with fucking Magneto?
I fought with him. With him almost every episode about minor things. I did. I didn't realize it till I started re-listening to the episodes, and I was like, damn. I argued with him on every single episode.
Yeah, but that was also when we were getting near to the end of, like, we're doing 15 goddamn shows every weekend.
We were all tired enough, that's for damn sure.
Dude,
we're doing Robo reviews and costume reviews and monster reviews and TOS and Legacy of Gaming and controller pileup and a What's Up and it's too much.
So to put ourselves on track here, just to do it,
okay.
He said he has notes. Do you have notes, Shane?
Listen, I didn't write any notes
No,
down.
that's fine. He has pages of notes, so we're going to go note to note and talk about what comes up, because that'll lead us through the whole series randomly, and there's a lot of shit to talk about. We literally don't have the time to talk about everything, but let's knock out some shit we can. Let's talk the X-Men 97, as if we haven't been doing that.
Okay, let me start it off. No,
fair enough.
I know you got notes, Seth, but let me start this off.
Because I was going to say, my first note we already went over, which was the voice actors that we got to keep.
Right.
So no worries there.
So my question is this. We all watched all of it. What was your favorite part of it? What was your favorite? It could be a favorite scene. It could be a change to a character. It could be what was your favorite thing about the first season? Because let me start it off, okay? For the longest time, anybody that knows me or anybody that's listened to me talk about the X-Men knows that I have a particular hate for Cyclops. I didn't like him in the 90s series. I thought he was a shit leader. But
he's the greatest at hide and seek, Shane.
Yeah.
Bitch, don't look at me, bro.
And I just didn't like him in the 90s series, and because of that, he was not, in my opinion, I didn't think he was well written. A lot of times they have problems writing leaders. I mean, Leonardo also had that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a reason for that, because they like to take the stuff that the leaders do and give it to the cool character. And I don't know why cartoons and fucking shows do that, but they do it, and it drives me fucking crazy. Like, just real quick, because you're on a leader topic.
Mm-hmm.
Who dates Scarlet? G.I. Joe. Very simple. And I know that you might not watch G.I. Joe. I didn't watch G.I. Joe, but I do know this fact. Who dates Scarlet?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. If you're reading the comic books, where most of the mythology came from in the first place, it's Snake Eyes.
Okay.
If you watch the cartoon, it is heavily implied that it's Duke.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is I thought it was Duke.
Why?
But yeah.
Now, if you if you read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who has a fight with the foot soldiers and is taken out of commission for months at a time while the team has to recuperate and learn to be without someone?
It's Leonardo.
It's Leonardo.
But in the movie,
comics and in the 2013 cartoon.
Yeah.
But in that movie, it's Raph.
Because Raph is
I just got done re-listening to all of the season or all of movie 1 and movie 2 review because I'm making my own playlists.
Listen, I think they give all the big moments to the most popular character. Obviously,
but that creates a problem in characters.
It does.
Like Cyclops. Why is Cyclops in the X-Men? To make Wolverine look cool. That's it.
Yep.
They didn't give him anything to do. And when they did, they just kind of shoehorned it like hard. But Cyclops is not a follow-the-rules little spectator Boy Scout. He has never been that.
Listen, first episode, I think it was the first episode of 97, when the Blackbird gets destroyed in the air, and like I said, the X-Men are so used to this shit that they treat this like a normal Tuesday. They're free falling.
If you break this Blackbird, it'll be the same amount in the same number of weeks.
Yep. Because he even got, I remember them in one of the last episodes. He's like, "Oh God, this is like the third one this week."
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, they're destroying so many Blackbirds. In fact, but
and then technically they break more.
Yes, But when they're free falling and they're all treating this like a leisurely fucking Sunday, and I see because nobody's worried. Yeah, we're free falling, but we all are mutants. We can. I
don't think I've ever had a leisurely Sunday where my plane is going down and I just get in a Porsche and fucking drive out the back like I'm in a fucking Fast and the Furious movie.
Yes.
Well, you're not. Well, guess what? You're not an X-Men. If you were an X-Men, that would happen.
I could be Blob. You don't know.
Well, guess what? If you were Morph, you could just be Blob because he was.
Yeah, he was a couple times. Yeah.
But when I saw Cyclops, and they finally. And he used his optic blast to break his fall. And when he does that badass superhero landing, when he stands up and he says, "Come to me, my X-Men," I don't know why, but that moment resonated with me. I'm like, and I looked at my wife and I was like, I think I like Cyclops now.
But Shane, there's a problem.
It took them giving him something cool. Kind of like how they take all the cool things away from the leaders and give them to Raphael and other characters so that they can be cool.
But think about this.
Think of how long you would have liked other characters that you don't think you like if they would have gotten moments to actually do the things they were supposed to do.
And Cyclops in this series actually did things and showed off how powerful
like he always has.
Like he did lots of stuff, dude, especially things that his powers don't allow him to do.
Yeah,
dude, when they're in that area,
I have 2 notes on that.
When they're in that factory or whatever, and they're rescuing Sunspot, and he fucking uses his blast to slide back and then slide this way and slide this way. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Powers don't work that way.
Yeah, powers don't work that way.
Well, I don't care if it
and then, like you
way.
said, the Blackbird explodes. Everybody else gets caught by flying characters, and he just goes, "See you on the ground, team."
Like, nobody.
I'm like,
now there's an argument. I don't know. Comic physics, maybe, but there's a couple of problems. One, I know that his optic blast is strong enough that he looks down. He just cut a hole down to the center of the earth because it can literally punch through steel. So he really just would have made a bigger hole that he would have fell in and died much more horribly. But maybe there's an argument that because the force pushes down against the earth, maybe that pushes back up against him. Maybe. But they say in the comics multiple times, the optic blast, 1, does not generate heat. It just blamp. 2, it does not generate repercussion. It doesn't kick back, because if it did, he would blow his damn head off. Like, you're talking about a weapon that is strong enough to punch through like 6 inches of solid steel coming out of his face. His neck would rip off. Like, he'd be dead. So it's cool to have him like zoom around the room with optic blasts.
Listen,
But he really can't do that.
I took logic out of that.
I did too.
Because I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care if your power don't work that way. Thank you, 97, for making give Cyclops something to do.
And
like him
look,
zipping
Jake hits it right here. But Bill, it looks cool. Bill, it looks cool. You're right. And since they're finally giving Cyclops some actual star power,
and not just that,
good.
Like,
let him slide around the fucking room. Let him choose when there's kickback and when there's not. I don't give a shit. You know what?
I'll make logic. This is the best way to explain it.
It's a lot like Dragon Ball Z. There are definitely fighters that should have won fights that they end up losing that don't make any sense. Like, case in point, Nappa should have lost to Krillin. I don't give a shit if Vegeta was here. If I would have thrown one fucking Destructo disc, cut his face, and then he would have turned around angry with big bulging eyes and said, "Why you?" I'd have been like, "Look at this!" He's done. I'm Krillin, bitch. Kill Nappa.
When I look at the only thing I can explain to the situation is, like I said, I took logic out of that. It's an awesome scene. Not only do you get to see him zipping around the room using his powers, he's also really good with hand-to-hand combat. He's fighting these guys. He's not breaking a sweat. Cyclops is just beating the shit out of these guys. And you're seeing, and they took Wolverine and they made him a sideline character, basically. He's there, but boy, he's a background character in a way.
They let him step in when it makes sense for him to step in and be the ultra-violent, gutting guy. Like, they let him stab people. That was said earlier, actually, in the chat. Somebody said, I like that they finally let Wolverine stab some people because, you know, it's kind of part of what he does.
I mean, come on. He has to stab somebody. What he's not. What is he going to do with them other than that? Tickle them? I mean, fuck. I mean, the guy. You give the guy razor sharp claws, he's gonna cut somebody.
You would think.
But they didn't do that in the '90s series. You watch very carefully. It's a lot of.
There's a panel. There's a set of panels in all new X-Men that are fantastic. By the way, that deal with Wolverine. He goes into a bank where they're attempting to arrest young Cyclops. And he says, all right, this is how this is going to go. He says, this kid is innocent. He didn't come in here and try to rob the bank. And then he turns around and goes, you didn't try to rob the bank, right? And he goes, no, I didn't. He didn't rob the bank. and then he says, so I'm going to take him and we're going to leave. And if you try to stop me, I'm going to use these to cut both your arms off, and then I'm going to go home, pop a beer, and watch TV, and you will be armless. I will be at home resting, and you will have no arms.
Dude.
And the cops go, well, but
and they just gotta let him go because they're like, yeah, I guess that would suck.
I know that it seems like my favorite part. I mean, there were so many good scenes. There were so many good fights. There were so many good things that happened in the series. But them getting me to like a character, and I'm actually thankful they did this. I was getting kind of tired of hating Cyclops. I wanted to like him. It was hard for me to like him in the 90s because he was such a bitch. And I guess Wolverine was a bitch too. Laying in bed, stroking.
He wasn't a bitch, Shane. He was angsty.
Yeah, well, he got his ass kicked a lot too.
Well, you got to understand, it takes a lot of body to throw a kung fu kick. So he hurt his tummy because his tummy was hurty. So
his tummy had 3 little scratches on it.
So you got to understand, Shane, that sometimes when your tummy is hurty, it really affects your performance. Until later that day when you could put your battle gear on and after you've had a nice stroking to Jean, then you feel better and your tummy don't hurty as bad, and then you can fight Morlocks.
I'm talking about Cyclops is a bitch in a different way. He's a bitch as in he's a bitchy whiny bitch. Wolverine is a bitch because he literally gets his ass kicked. Except that
it's weird because it's like they started out with the possibility that Scott wasn't going to be that way when he was the one that was against the mission in episode 1. Everybody else was like, yeah, let's go do terrorist shit. And he was like, oh, back up, hold on.
As leader of this team, that sounds like a stupid idea.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, Scott, you are absolutely right. Terrorism is a stupid idea.
And then they were like, let's go do it. And Scott was like, I really don't agree with what we are about to do.
And then Xavier says some stuff, and Scott's like, "Well, God damn it, he's the actual leader."
Yeah, he's the actual leader. I guess
So,
we'll
like,
just do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Except if you see part of Cyclops' real character when Professor comes back and he's like, "Oh, no, don't come back here like you're the fucking leader." Okay,
that was beautiful.
Yeah,
he did not. In the '90s, I felt like he would have just fell in line. But not this time. He walked away from Xavier like, fuck you, dude.
Right.
We needed you. Where the fuck were you? We lost Gambit, goddammit.
Oh, right. That's even one of my notes, Shane.
That's
my note literally says Scott tells Xavier to fuck himself suddenly.
Dude, that is character development. That makes Scott not a bitch. Finally showing that he is the leader of the X-Men. He's been holding his own while Xavier's been gone, doing the best he can.
But Jake, he can't. Future chair's broken.
Yeah, the future chair's broken. Now he has to be like, just do what I say, Scott.
Yep.
Old-timey chair.
By the way, my X-Men, while I was gone, no WD-40 on this wheelchair. You had plenty of time.
Well, you imagine he had to have sat in the mansion for at least, 5 years? Because he never uses it in the series. He's always flying around on his future chair.
Well, he gets that future chair back in the last episode.
Yes.
Right.
But, and what I like about, like I said, Cyclops getting all this stuff was great. Him being a leader, him showing that, him saying fuck you to Xavier, it cemented him. I have to say this, in this series right now, Cyclops might have been my favorite.
Wow.
Wolverine will get a more prominent fucking role in season 2, especially since they're following the Fatal Attraction, or they're doing part of the Fatal Attraction story arc.
Right.
And since they're doing that, he'll get a bigger role in season 2. And that could be where Cyclops takes a step back. And that's fine. If you want to do that, where one season a guy takes a little bit more of the spotlight, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, as they should. Because like I said, when we were growing up, there were plenty of characters that were cool. They just never got a chance to know anybody. All they did was be like, look at Wolverine, he's cool, right? All right.
Dude,
you mean like how Gambit, all we knew about him is he was going to do some stuff with style?
Yeah. They had a couple of standouts for Gambit here and there. But and Gambit's one of those guys that we did get some real character development. We got to see some of the back stuff. But there were characters that were just absolutely underutilized and got no cool moments. And even if they got high character development, like we get to see Scott's dad. We get to see some of the tragedy that befell his family and things like that. But we never really see him do much. The coolest thing that Scott does in the entirety of the original X-Men series is he kills a lot of Sentinels and he hurts Mr. Sinister.
He hurts Mr. Sinister badly.
Yeah, he nearly cuts him in half.
When Mr.
Stay
Sinister
away from my friends.
Dude, but I'm telling you, dude, 97 did such a good job of getting me to my least favorite X-Men character to become one of my favorites, because and I loved Magneto in this series. I watched as he tried to live up to Xavier's final wish.
He tried to put his own bullshit aside and try somebody else's path.
Yes,
but it's simply not for him. He doesn't believe in it. Now, here's the thing. This is interesting. He always likes to put this thing out. Oh, Charles, unwilling to sacrifice to make the decisions that you have to make. Bullshit. See, now he's been in Charles' shoes, and he had to make those sacrifices for a dream that he didn't necessarily believe in, but he was trying to uphold. And there are sacrifices on both ends.
Yep.
And so Magneto didn't have what it took to make the sacrifices for the world that Xavier wanted. But has no problem making the sacrifices that he's willing to make for the world that he wants.
My favorite line in the entire series was a Magneto line. And him trying to live, just trying. I give him credit that he did.
And by the way, WWF Magneto
I know.
sucks ass.
I know. Okay.
I don't give a shit that was an actual costume in the comics. That costume is awful. WWF Magneto is shit.
By the way, just because
I couldn't wait. When I see him start putting the fucking purple and red back on, I was like, oh, thank God.
I know. I was so happy about that. And then I was like, minus his dumb costume, which is the only part of the series of Magneto's character that I didn't like was his costume, and that's not that bad, considering if it's just a costume I don't like.
Sabretooth are tag team partners in the WWF.
But Magneto trying to do you know what? He didn't bitch. He didn't sit there like, well, I don't want to do that, Xavier, and I'm not going to do that. Xavier died. I say that in quotations. And Magneto's like, okay, I'll do this. You were my friend. You're still my best friend. You're still my brother, even though we do not agree on the biggest topic that has separated us for years. You're still my brother, and I will do this.
Right.
I will give it a chance.
He's still the brother, huh?
And when
he's still the brother, Shane.
I know.
Right?
I know. Okay.
Yeah. Is that why Xavier goes full Vanisher on his ass?
Listen.
Who am I? What are we doing in this bar?
I know. Okay. Listen. I know we're onslaught's coming.
That man standing in front of me.
Listen, onslaught.
Who is this man that stands before me?
dude. Listen, I get it. Listen. What happened at the end? I'm not there yet. I'm talking about what leads
up to that. As soon as they did that, that's why I was like, motherfucker, I know they're stealing from us. Because they literally pulled from that Vanisher.
I know, man.
Who is this man who stands before? Who the fuck am I?
Who the fuck am I?
But with Magneto, and
for anybody that has no clue what just happened, yes, I used to do a show called Keeping Up with the X-Men. There is an episode on Keeping Up with the X-Men still on my channel. It's like X-Men #2, The Vanisher. And it goes over like the first encounter with the Vanisher, and it's pretty funny. Like the Vanisher's attitude, the way that he does what he does, why he does it, and like when the way they defeat him is just fantastic. Xavier just wheels out there like, I don't want you to be a bad guy anymore. And he's like, well, I'm the Vanisher, and I don't give a shit about some bald guy. Who am I? What? Where am I? And Xavier's like, yeah, I took care of that. He'll never be a person again. Like, I was just like, holy shit!
Like, listen. Listen, the whole thing that happened at the end, I'm not there yet. But what
I'm not there yet? You wanted to talk about this shit.
I am getting there. But what I liked about the whole Magneto thing is the fact that when he tried to do it their way, yes, I'll give myself up. Yes, I'll stand trial, even though I think this is bullshit. Yes. Right. Then he watched his Storm get hit with that fucking ray.
And wait a minute. You mean Magneto stood trial?
Yes.
You mean like Beast did for the entire fucking season?
Mm-hmm.
And we had to fucking argue?
Now this is a thing like X-Men 97. X-Men 97. That's what I mean. You don't get time to breathe with any of that. Beast would have probably been in jail for like a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that holds the same. Look, I remember the Beast trial, okay? But I remember it because it was long, and it was trying to teach you something, and it was showing parts of the system, and it was there was a storyline development behind it that got time to breathe and be a thing. And then we come to the Magneto trial, which was a real event in the comics, and they're just like, hey, I'm on trial. Nah, really cool scene of me lifting you guys up to look at the world and talk some, psycho shit.
Mad
you
bullshit.
get the idea. And then I'm gonna put you back down and we're gonna go about our day.
But that's what I'm getting at. It's like when he was willing to do it everybody else's way, but when Storm lost his powers, and I saw the rage that hit him, and when and I felt that because I know who I am. I know the kind of person I am. In Magneto's shoes,
but can you imagine if they'd have played that trial out over 1 or 2 episodes?
Yep.
And that blow up had come after you were sitting there boiling with him for like 2 episodes of getting screwed and being like, this is bullshit.
Dude, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the hypocrisy that you humans spew about how mutants are dangerous while you guys are bombing each other and killing each other. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead. I'll go ahead and I'll overlook your hypocrisy here real quick. And I'll let you speak before Magneto. This is the right. Listen, I've always said this before, and and I stick to my word. If I was a mutant living in a world that they live in, yes, fuck you, Xavier. Your way is fantastic, and I hope to God your way works one day. But right now, it's not gonna work. I already said I would have went with Magneto because I believe in his cause.
So you'd have been willing to fall on the nuke? Or turn the power off across the entire planet, shift the axis and screw up the electromagnetic field of the entire planet so that no technology really works across the entire board of the world and cripples us for years to come.
But you also got to remember one. You also
and then went and lived in space on a big asteroid that he gets to dictate all law because he's literally the emperor.
Listen, here's the issue. The reason I follow Magneto is because of what he is speaking.
And I get that.
It's hate speech, but that hate speech resonates with us because we have been put down our whole lives because of something I can't control.
Yes.
I was born with a mutation that I can't control, but yet you're crucifying me because of something I can't control. That makes a whole lot of sense. And then here comes this guy offering something better, something different. Yes, we're going to have to hurt people to get that, but they're willing to hurt us. So why not? Why not stand up and say, you know what, you have a gun, but I can turn into fire, bitch.
But then also the guy that you're following is willing to drop a nuke right on top of your head to prove a point to kill the 60,000 humans.
But remember,
and he doesn't give a shit about the 2,000 mutants that would have been in the city that he bombed. For every time that Magneto makes a point, the hypocrisy of his social violence comes forward.
I'm not oblivious to the fact that him and Xavier are both hypocrites. I'm not.
Right. Because I definitely put it on Xavier, too. I don't think... The truth of the matter is somewhere in the middle. We're going to have to take an aggressive stance. But there has to come a point, and then you could argue that maybe they do need to be extreme, because I'm saying, that's what X-Men is. It's a debate. Because you also have to argue the fact that, let's say that mutants take an aggressive posture but aren't willing to go the distance that Magneto's willing to go, and then the Genosha Master Mold.
Yep.
I mean...
But I'm also... The reason I'd follow him is you got to remember, I'm brainwashed at this point. Because I'm mad. And when I'm mad, I don't think clearly. I'm brainwashed. I'll follow this guy, but just like Rumble Raw had a problem with dropping the fucking colony on the planet, I will eventually have a problem.
Right.
This goes right back to a quote that was said that I listened to last night when I was re-listening to the first Turtles review. Anger makes you stupid.
Yeah, anger makes you stupid.
And
that's what took out Leonardo.
Later down the road, I may become part of Xavier's X-Men, but for a while, I will be a Brotherhood mutant.
And see, that's the thing about X-Men too, is this is a long lineage of side changing, because it isn't a black and white issue. There's a gray area here that's very hard to find exactly where the balance is and exactly how you feel at any given time. So we have seen things like Colossus was in the Brotherhood. He was a bad guy for a while. Like,
Rogue, even
my biggest problem with X-Men, because I do actually have a problem with X-Men, it's when they get writers in the room that don't realize you need to walk the middle line. It needs to be gray enough that I can choose either side, and it's difficult all the time. Nobody's necessarily right. Nobody's necessarily wrong. These are points of view caused by a world of extremities that have certain repercussions. But what they do often is you get a writer in the room who comes in and goes, I don't like this gray area Magneto was right shit. I want him to be an absolute megalomaniac. And then they take him as far as they can, make him an absolute monster, And then then the next writer has to come in and be like, well, hold on. Let me think of some bullshit. That wasn't Magneto. Well, who the fuck? It's this other dude. And see, he was kind of influenced and blah, blah, blah. And then they try to pull him back, and they're like, now this is actually Magneto. And then they start doing some stuff. Then the next writer comes in and goes, I like this good guy Magneto shit. And they push him back into... They do this with Magneto. Yep. If you read his history, he has done some absolutely atrocious shit.
Yes.
And then they'll dial him back and be like, well...
But because...
See, reasons and reasons...
Basically, here's what it comes down to.
Because they do shit with the real megalomaniac. Megalomaniac in this fucking goddamn season. What? Because they literally have Bastion ends up having a Zoom call with all the villains, and Doom literally says, hey, I'm not going to stand by with fucking genocide, okay? It's not part of my itinerary. I'm goddamn Doom, damn it.
Dude, I love that.
Right.
I love seeing Doom there.
Dude, I'll tell you something right now. Just on a personal level. If Bastion, Mr. Sentinel Bastion, had decided to turn his Sentinel parade loose on Latveria against Latverian mutants, I have a feeling.
Been pissed.
I have a feeling that not because he necessarily loves his people, but if Doom would have seen that as some sort of retort directly against him, what? You're turning your shit on me? Do you know who I am? That's it. Bastion is done. I don't give a shit. Doom would wreck Bastion without trying. I'm positive Doom already has access to some sort of technology or idea that would have protected Latveria in terms of an attack and would have absolutely been done with this whole invasion thing. Doom is the absolute top pinnacle level of Marvel villain superpower. I don't think it gets higher.
I was scrolling through fucking Facebook, and literally because I follow a page that's like the greatness of Doom or some shit like that, where it's literally like random out of context panels from different Doctor Doom comics. He's literally in the middle of fighting a guy, and the guy blasts him, and he goes, "Oh, that's cute," and blasts him back, and the dude goes, "Oh, what?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've been absorbing all of your powers and making you weaker every time you fucking punched me since the first punch."
Right, I was just playing games this whole fight.
Dude, right. Doom is so broken that he's like, dude, I'm going to tell you something, Bastion. You're going to drop that, now you're going to drop that asteroid on the Earth. If that asteroid hits Latveria, not only am I going to destroy that asteroid because I can do that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Doom already had something in mind. Because, the government was like, hey, let's send up some missiles. Fucking idiots. Because that was the best fucking idea. They caused it to fall.
Yes, they did.
Bastion hadn't actually gotten far enough to be able to pull it down yet. The missiles did that for him.
Yep.
But even had they not done that, I have a feeling
they got
that
their
realistically,
power back.
Say that asteroid got close enough that Doom had to step in to at least save himself or his people, that shit wouldn't have hit the ground.
No, Doom would have been like Bastion.
Let's see. Who are Doom's biggest fucking enemies outside of the Fantastic Four? Who does Doom fight most often with? Let's see. He fights with Blackheart, who's the literal devil.
Right.
And he also fights with Dormammu, who's a cosmic level evil entity.
Yeah, Doom deals with cosmic level entities.
He fights fucking Galactus.
Yes, the Eater of Worlds, the guy who literally grabs a planet and eats it like an apple.
Doom literally is a man who knows magic, science, and all sorts of crazy fucking bullshit techniques.
And that's why
just like Zap Brannigan send wave after wave after wave of Doombots.
And it's literally considered to be just a little less intelligent than Reed Richards.
Yes.
And I mean a little.
There's got to be
it's almost indiscernible.
There's got to be
in fact, if you go look it up, they say that the three smartest people in the MCU are Reed Richards, his fucking daughter, and Doom.
Oh, and
they're
by
all
the way,
literally like that far apart.
super fucking power move on Doom. You ever want to see the biggest power move ever in the history of Doomness? Look up the name of Reed's daughter, and look up the fact that the only reason Reed's daughter is alive is because Doom allowed it. And got to name her because of it.
Yep.
Doom allowed it. There's no other way to put it. He made the delivery of the baby possible, birthed it, saved Sue, saved the baby, named the baby, then congratulated Mr. Fantastic on his excellent child, which he got to name, by the way, and then said, I'll be checking in from time to time. Every time you look at your child, remember, Doom is the only reason this is possible. Thank Doom every time you hug your family. Like, it's a power move on a level that is unreasonable.
Dude, you kidding me? I still laugh every time I see it when it pops up. There's like different panels that'll come up from when Doom got married, and he literally invited the Fantastic Four. And fucking Ben walks out and he's like, oh, I'm so glad that you can, invite me to your menagerie charade. And Doom literally turns and he goes, where's your wife? And he starts to turn back around and Ben goes, oh, well, she got caught up at work. And Doom goes, good. I didn't want her here anyway. And Ben goes, what? And he goes, nothing, Ben Grimm. Like, just, he can fucking wipe his ass out right there. He's like, it's my fucking wedding day. I don't want my bride to be pissed. I'm gonna leave it be. God damn you. Like, through gritted teeth the entire fucking time.
Dude, I'm telling you, you ever get a chance to look that up, Shane, you look up how Doom delivered Reed's baby. And it's the only reason she's even alive. And every single day, Reed has to be like, oh, thank Doom.
Dude, when I saw Doom show up in '97, I guess on a monitor, but I don't.
On a monitor, that's fair. Yeah. But almost everybody else was the same kind of,
When I saw that,
and it's arguable that the Fantastic Four didn't step in because they literally were not on the planet. That happens often. The Fantastic Four are literally dealing with galactic issues a lot.
They're like the Green
Otherwise, you'd imagine Reed would have just like reversed the polarity of like the asteroid or something and just sent it back up or some ridiculous shit.
What? Well, to be honest,
the second the power would have went out, Reed would have been fixing that issue overnight.
And had it fixed because he's Reed Richards.
But of course, at the same time, none of that shit would have had to happen if fucking President Kelly wasn't a dumbass.
Right.
Oh, hey, we got our fucking power back. What do we do?
That's a question, too. If President Kelly, you'd imagine that the smartest man on the planet would have had the ear of Kelly and would have been like, my calculations say that if you fire these missiles, you know what I mean? Like, because you imagine he'd have already thought all that through. It'd have been like, the physics of this is working against you. That shit's going to come down if you do something stupid.
Going
back, not even that, like I said, just fucking common sense. Oh, hey, the power's back on? Oh, well, the X-Men must have gone up and done their job. Magneto must not be a threat. Fuck it. Now, keep an eye on it, but fuck it.
Now, going back to the whole...
do that? No.
Going back to the whole Bastion thing with the Doom, you're talking about how strong Doom is, and he's very powerful. In fact, probably, Jesus, if you're talking about villainry, he's got to be top 5 easily.
But that depends what era are we talking, because especially if you get in a God Doom,
right? Well, you get into God Doom, then obviously
enough said.
Yeah, but when he's standing there and they're talking about a way to deal with this asteroid, I'm thinking to myself, dude, he's thinking to himself, motherfucker, if that asteroid comes near Latveria, I swear to God, I'm going to destroy it because I can, and then I'm going to find you, and what I'm about to do to you. It will make what you were going to do with Asteroid M feel like a tickle.
And it's funny to see some weird, underhanded morality by Doom that says, I'm interested in global genocide. But why? Because I want to rule the entire world.
And I can't.
If everybody's dead, I can't really rule anything. So I'm not really interested in global genocide. Your plan is dumb.
The more people you kill, that's the less subjects I get. Damn it!
Right. Listen, I thought about ruling a wasteland for like a minute, and I realized that'd be boring.
Yeah,
So
I like
listen,
that his moral impact comes down to no, I don't want you to kill everybody
I want to rule them.
because then I
Yeah.
won't be able to boss people around.
His morality, it's funny
People
because he's
won't
like,
be
listen,
able to tell me how great I am. I don't want that shit to happen.
and then like
People will be able to get down on their knees and lick my boots clean if they're dead.
Right,
he should have just came down to one line, and they call me the villain.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sit here and say I want people to live.
Meanwhile, fucking Baron Zemo's on the next screen like, hey, I mean, do what you're gonna do. I mean, fuck, I was a Nazi. I mean, genocide is what I do. I don't give a fuck.
It's like, okay, whatever.
He's like, we all got to die sometime. Whatever.
Oh shit.
But like, it's just like, and when like, I felt like the emotions I felt in this scene, it was interesting because like going back to the whole when Storm lost her powers and feeling Magneto's rage, I was mad too. I was angry too, and watching him lift everybody up in the air, and then my favorite line of the whole first season was after he talks about Charles's dream and he wants to live up to, you know, what Charles believed in and trying it his way, and he basically ends it with, please do not make me let you down. And when I heard that, I was like, dude, that is the most, that's the biggest threat you could make, is giving our situation, because if you drop, you can easily drop us. But he said it in such a passive way that it's like such a passive aggressive line, showing that he's trying to do it Xavier's way, but really just wanting to drop them.
Shane,
What?
you know nothing of emotions.
Oh, I got more emotions. That was just, dude, that was like the second episode.
No.
We didn't get to the fucking...
Shane, every single episode, and this is to go back to answer the question that you had originally asked. Let me see here. It's about 11:30. About 45 fucking minutes ago.
That's right. That's how this show works.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
What was your favorite part of the entire show?
Yes.
The expectations that they were setting up. You go through fucking episode 1, where Gambit's being a dick, and they go and they save Roberto with fucking, oh, well, what's going on with this, you know, human anti-mutant coalition, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, then it cuts into, hey, there's an intruder. Oh, by the way, here's the last will and testament of Charles Xavier, who says, I'm in charge. Come to me, my X-Men. Followed by all of a sudden Magneto being a good guy. And now all of a sudden he's pissed off because Storm lost her powers, and he's fucking lifted the UN up into fucking outer space. He's like, I will fucking kill you right now, but Charles said not to, so I'm not going to fucking do it.
Right. Like right there, he was,
Then
if he would have went back to his baser ideals and just dropped him, but he had to make that decision, just like he has sacrificed many things. He had to sacrifice on a level that Charles has had to do many times, when Charles has the power to wipe the mind of the entire American Congress and just go, pass this law. We're done here. We're done.
Yeah,
I've done it.
exactly.
I saved everyone.
Yeah, he literally could. But
Right.
but he can't do that because that breaks his morals.
Right. But then you move back to where fucking, you know, Jean is in the middle of having her fucking baby. Oh, hey, here's Nathan. Okay, good. Good, it's Nathan. Oh, wait a minute. It's Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I need the X-Men. Jean? Jean, is that you? Hey guys, I did the genetic testing. This is the real Jean. That one over there is a clone. What? How dare you call me a clone, Goblin Queen? Bah!
How dare you call me
by
a
the
clone,
way,
Goblin Queen?
By the way, now Sinister has the baby. Oh fuck! If Sinister has the baby, are you guys about to fucking pull some alternate reality shit on me?
Indeed.
Because if that baby doesn't end up staying as Nathan and becomes Nate, we are all fucked. Capital F, capital U, capital K, capital T, fucked. Why are we fucked? Because Nate, not Nathan, but Nate gets cured by Sinister in the books and becomes X-Man, who literally is 7,000 times more psychically capable than his mother, and becomes a bad guy. because he gets sick of this. Oh, well, Dad and Charles keep telling me that we need to be kind to humans, but I keep hearing this Magneto guy say, "No, fuck that, they're killing us." Why don't we just agree with Magneto and start fucking people up?
Can I ask you a question?
So I said, "Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck," until they pulled the baby out, and I'm like, "Oh, all right, yep, no, that's fine." And yes, I know I can't spell. I did that on purpose, Jake.
Now, my question is do you think we should have saw that coming because they already introduced Cable in the '90s series? Should we already have guessed that it was going to be Nathan and not Nate?
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said,
alternate realities, dude.
Yeah, and also because you're dealing with a team that didn't deal with these. The original team that dealt with the Goblin Queen was the First Class. Yeah, they had brought a book in. I believe it was X Factor, and they brought in all the original team, and that original team in some of the worst costumes in X-Men history, just like they were bad. I've never liked them. They're basically all bodysuits that are like one standard color with a big white X across the entirety of the body.
Yeah,
they're okay at the absolute best. They're bad. I've always felt, but in general, the First Class dealt with the Goblin Queen stuff. It was literally Angel, not here. There's half the storyline right there. Beast. Here, but literally as background character as he can be, he did a lab test. And then like Gambit, not supposed to be there. Rogue, not supposed to be there. Magneto, not supposed to be there. Like, so you're dealing with stuff, they're already taking storylines that these characters did not take place in.
Yep.
So even though we're adapting stories that we know, it does leave it open for many things to happen that we've never seen because these people weren't there.
In fact, let me jump it forward to I think it was episode 9. They're sitting in the fucking war room. Cable has the holographic projector up. Shane, did you notice something that Shane was that fucking Cable was pointing out? You didn't catch this, did you? Because Hank literally interrupts him and he goes, "Oh yeah, you know the place where all the mystics that, built up Stephen Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme and all that? Yeah, they talk about different time variances." As he's literally showing a TVA screen of the fucking timeline and it branching the fuck out.
Yeah.
Shane, where does that come from?
I'm drawing a blank.
The TVA, Shane. I even pointed it out to you a second ago.
It came from Loki.
Loki, season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, the TSA, the
TVA, the Time Variance Authority.
Yep.
Yeah. So every single time that Cable's ass is going back in time to change shit, technically the TVA is supposed to be on his ass right this fucking second, Shane.
Which there's an argument to be made that they are. Because in that time variation line, Genosha must fall.
Yep.
It must be destroyed. The mutant nation must fall. It has to be gone, and certain people have to die. And he came back in time 200 plus times to try to stop it. And every time something would happen that would screw it up, like it was a pinpoint in time. Now, you could make this two ways. One, there are pinpoints in time, fixed areas that have to happen. They hold the universe together. You cannot change them. Or, every time he came back to stop or do something, somebody was purposely screwing it up for him. Putting certain cards in places that would guarantee that he couldn't succeed this time.
Yep.
Like, the fact that Sinister has control over him and Bastion has control over Sinister. That's why I was saying, oh fuck, don't let that be Nate. Let it stay as Nathan. By the way, to continue, then you have the expectation of, oh, well fuck, now you have Jean and you have Madeline. Well fuck, Wolverine, go with Madeline. Shit, Scott wants to be with Madeline because she birthed his son. Fucking you get Jean back.
And that was
Now you
something
can be
that.
fucking creepy.
So here's a question, because yes, this is important. We're talking about X-Men. We're talking about morality. We're talking about difficult questions. We're talking about like what's right and what's wrong and where you draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
Jean comes back to quote unquote life.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back to the team. She's the real Jean. They were switched at some point, which we have never been given this answer, and it would be very hard for us to dictate exactly because the psychic rapport has shared their memories. So it's hard to determine when this happened. Maybe when we were introduced to Sinister. Maybe it was as far back as that. I don't know. It doesn't give me enough clues for me to guarantee it.
And the only person that knows it is Sinister,
But here's
I
one
could
thing
tell
I
you,
do
Gene.
know. Here's something I know for sure. Madeline had your kid. And
Yep.
but did you marry Madeline or did you marry Jean?
Mm-hmm.
dude, that is one question that I hope you never ask me if that ever happened.
So
Because I don't know. Because I don't know what to do.
who's he supposed to have gone with? Now, he had a kid with Madeline, but there's a possibility that he actually married Jean, not Madeline. So he would then be married to Jean.
And fathered a baby by Madeline.
Now, we can argue, not his fault, he doesn't know. But the deed is done. Now we have to pick where we go. Does he leave with Madeline to go start that life that they were talking about with his kid?
Or
does he stay home? Madeline leaves, and he ends up with Jean. And then, when the kid is removed from the equation, it seems like it makes his choice
a lot
easier. But does it? Is she
doesn't.
now just an affair that happened and she moves on? Because he's still seeing her telepathically in secret, or he thinks he's in secret, except for Jean is not that dumb. So now we have a problem where who should he actually be with? Because he had a kid with Madeline. Does that negate all possibility of Jean? Should they annul the marriage? Or do they even have to do that? Does the license transfer to Madeline? Because we don't know. But he has to pick one of these two women to go with. What's the actual ethical choice?
well, some would tell you that when a child is involved, then all other questions have been answered.
But the child's gone.
Now the child. Okay, let's say the child would have stayed. Okay.
Then it's Madeline, no question.
Yep.
On a
Yes, it's
personal
Madeline.
level, it's Madeline, no question.
It has to be Madeline. I'm sorry, Gene.
Which means Wolverine gets Jean.
Which means
I
Wolverine.
had a kid with Madeline. That's the end of the discussion. I didn't know you weren't here.
Yes, and I'm sorry. This is the one time where you can't get mad because you guys, even the professor, who obviously has way more powerful psychic abilities than I do because I don't have psychic abilities, if he was fooled, Magneto was fooled, the entire team was fooled, the entire world was
Nobody
fooled.
picked up on it. We have no idea how long she was there.
I think that's why, if you consider it, oh, well, you cheated on me with Madeline. Well, obviously, this is the one time where cheating I can get away with because every single person was fooled.
Well, I wouldn't even say that you're getting away with it. I'd say that really it is a conundrum question because they're the same person.
Yes, they are.
Down to the point that they're sharing memories. Jean has the memories of having Nathan, but did not ever do that. Biologically, because there are certain things that change in a woman when they have a baby. We're not going into details. I'm just saying biologically, Jean would be literally different than Madeline just because of birth in general. She would be different. But also different on a cellular level because Jean is the original and Madeline is a copy. But he had a kid with Madeline. I don't know which one he married. But they both remember having the wedding. They both remember having the kid.
Okay, you know what? I know what I would do.
But you got to pick one. And
I got
what
it.
ethically makes sense? Which one? The one that you started the relationship with, the real one, the one that you spent all that time with and developed and wanted to marry, or the one that kind of slipped in there
With
but did
unnoticed.
not know that she did such a thing and you had a kid with?
It's
Yep.
almost
And has
like
literally been the one supporting you through the entire start of the season, telling you this is the life we're going to live. I agree with it. You agree with it. Count Storm as a sister.
listen. I already have my answer. Regardless of the answer, somebody's getting hurt.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can't stop that. I mean, I guess the only thing I could do is be like, well, you know what? I'll make it easy. I don't want none of you. I'm a bachelor.
Now,
Now,
Scott, also playing off the idea that he's not a perfect person, okay?
Yeah.
Even when he picks Jean and sends Madeline away, basically, because he could have went with her. There was never even a discussion. He just let her leave and he picks Jean. He's still with Madeline. So now he's dating both of them. Because he's seeing Madeline in secret.
I think.
Meanwhile, Logan should have gone with Madeline because then he would still technically have a Jean.
I think what I would do if I was Cyclops in this situation is obviously the first choice has already been made. If my child got to stay, I pick Madeline. No questions asked. That's a simple one. Because, like I said, once a child is involved, all questions are answered. Now, the child's gone. Now I just have to choose: do I stay with Madeline? Do I go with Jean? And so I've been thinking about this whole thing. You were talking, and I believe that my choice would probably have been the woman that this past year who was carrying my child, the one that I was bonding with, the one that I rushed to the hospital for, is probably going to be the one I stick with. And I know that hurts Jean, but somebody's got to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I don't know when the switch happened. It could have happened fucking 4 years ago.
Personally, I would tell you that it happened sometime after all the Phoenix shit. And the only reason I would say that is because Jean literally gets her shit smoked in, and fucking the Phoenix says, nope, get the fuck back up.
Okay, so that postulates an interesting argument. Because you could argue that it had to have been switched after, like he said, because there's still a remnant of the Phoenix Force inside of Jean.
Because if that would have been in Madeline, then when Madeline gets blowed the fuck up with, Sentinel Prime.
Right, it would have meant nothing.
Hey, get fucked? Yeah, it wouldn't have meant shit.
But she does get blowed up,
And
which
as
means
far
that
as
she wasn't able to pull from a remnant Phoenix Force. So this happened at some point after the Phoenix. So we had to have gone as far as past season 2. It has to have happened sometime in season 3, 4, or 5
Yep.
that the switch happens.
most likely it could have happened.
Considering they, I believe, start season 2 with the wedding.
So
then that means he did marry Jean. They couldn't have been switched beforehand.
No, he married Jean.
So he's married to Jean,
And
kid
then
with
he would,
Madeline.
Yep.
Remember, if the switch didn't happen until season 3, let's say it happened in season 3. We'll break it down.
Right.
Because it works both ways. Well, he was with Jean for the first 2 seasons. From season 3, 4, 5, and into 97, he's been with Madeline. Now, if they can, they're never going to tell us. And that's going to be one of those questions.
There's only one way to confirm, and it comes from the title card, Shane.
Oh yeah, that was fucking brilliant.
I wasn't. I know.
That was one of the most amazing things ever. Dude, I couldn't fucking believe that. The intro changes every episode.
Yes, I did notice that.
If you're watching episode 4 after the Goblin Queen and all that shit went down, the Jean intro changes.
She no longer has the messy hair. She's got the ponytail again.
Yep.
Just like after episode 6, they removed Gambit and they put Nightcrawler in.
Yep.
Instantly. You know how sometimes when a
Just like
character
how
dies,
after Bishop fucks off with Nathan,
yep.
Bishop's no longer there.
But
Yeah,
they
he's
put,
out of the intro.
but I think they
Yep.
put Cable in.
No,
Well,
I
No,
don't think they.
They didn't put Cable in the intro
I,
because he
I
was.
know
They may
he's
have
in it at
put
one
Cable
point.
in.
I thought.
Yeah, because he's shooting at
Yeah,
Apocalypse,
yeah, because he's
but they don't give him an actual title card.
Yeah, he's not a member of the team.
Oh yeah. I
It's not
forgot.
until they're absolutely a member of the team that they get a title
So
card.
I forget
Yep.
that they made Bishop an actual X-Men, but they didn't make Cable.
Yep.
And Forge is technically not an X-Men. He just is close with Charles
And Storm.
and Storm.
He
But
wants
he's
to
not.
be close with Storm.
But if they,
I want to say they actually do legitimately date for a while, which is why I'm saying since
I
they're
can't
not letting
remember
shit
how
breathe.
long. I can't
But if-
remember
Yeah.
how long or how that plays out.
Yeah,
Like,
I
can look
I
it
do
up,
remember
hold up.
there being something, but I can't remember if it was like comic book level of a fling where they're together for like 20 issues and that's really like a week in comic books. I mean,
Listen,
Control F, STOR.
listen, for this episode, well, I didn't take notes down. After I watched the whole season, I went in and did research and read up some articles. And
Ford
kind of-
shared a romantic relationship with Storm and a
Well-
brief affair with Mystique, which led him to associate with the X-Men and thus enhancing the technology at the X-Mansion. He was also a member of X-Factor, and
See,
that's just in the very beginning.
I did remember it being brief. I remembered it being like some comics. I don't remember it being
Forge.
something that drug out.
Okay.
I'll let Seth finish his thing, and then I'll finish what I was saying.
No, it's fine. Okay, convinces Storm. Storm tries to kill Forge, but in the moment she stabs him, she sees she was tricked. Okay, Fall of the Mutants, which would have been in '88, and that literally spanned from Uncanny X-Men 225 to 227, X-Factor 24 to 26, and New Mutants 59 to 61. And that's literally the ass end of the relationship. So that means they would have started like well fucking before that. But it's literally like 3 fucking paragraphs in his Wikipedia page because I'm not afraid to be a fucking Wikipedia warrior since, no offense, but our chat will be as well.
Well, yeah, but I'm almost positive it wasn't super. It's
Right,
such
it
a
maybe
footnote
would have
that I
been like-
barely recall it.
Yeah, it would have been like a year or two type
Right.
of thing. But yeah, so like I said, then we go back to my point of all the expectations. So let's see. So we already got to Goblin Queen gets all pissy and fucks off. Okay, cool. Then Logan goes with Maddie, or Scott goes with Maddie, and either way, fucking Wolvie gets a fucking gene, so he can stop being an angsty bitch. But instead, he doesn't want to do that, and he's just going to hang out and let Morph keep having these fucking ideas that him and Wolvie are going to become a thing. So then, let's see. Then the next expectation. Let's see.
I saw that fucking news, by the way. Just fucking calm your fucking testicles, people.
Right.
All
Like,
those
who
fucking
gives a shit?
they made Wolverine gay. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. It's fucking Morph, and who gives a shit? Let's see. Then the next bit of expectation would have been, let's see. After everybody gets bloated it up and killed in Genosha, then you have that expectation of, okay, so what the fuck happens now? Because now they have no fucking leader and they have no Gambit. What the shit? So then you get the expectation of fucking Rogue deciding to basically go back to the Brotherhood ways, and now she's going to become the new fucking Magneto and just start killing motherfuckers for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Because she already starts off when she literally shows up at fucking Gyrix and just fucking hold your face, and you literally think, oh fuck, she killed him, until quite literally they show him sitting on a ventilator. Beep, beep, beep. It's like, oh, okay, the heart monitor says she didn't kill him. Cool. Then Bastion shows up and you're like, who the fuck is this? Thank God I've got subtitles on. Who's this Bastion guy? Clickety clack. Oh fuck. followed by the reveal of, oh yeah, Magneto's not dead. Fucking yo, what?
Dude,
He got fucked. How is he not? How is it all the Morlocks around him dead? He ain't fucking dead. What?
can I be honest with you? It could have something to do with that magnetic field that he can put around himself.
I'm going to say that
What protects
because Bastion needed Magneto.
I think the blast was intended to wipe out the mutants around him, but
Yes, I think it was more like to stun him since he is Omega level.
And because he's Omega and everybody around him is obviously not.
He's still right. He's still if you could catch him off guard and shoot him with a sniper round, he'd be dead in one fucking hit. So that's not viable. The only thing that could have possibly saved him is he put out all his power into a force field. The shot hit him, and at the last possible moment when he could not hold back the field anymore, the field condensed around him and protected only him. Like a literal body field, like a Green Lantern aura.
Right. It was some instinct shit like, oh, we're going to die? Like, okay, not to bring it up for the 57th time, but that time Bill and I got into a fist fight out at the fucking Pizza Hut parking lot where the dude literally fucking smacked me in the mouth. I blacked the fuck out. The only thing I remember is laying on the ground doing one of these like, okay, if this dude comes at me, I'm just going to start swinging mad. But apparently the dude knocked me the fuck out. My subconscious said, oh no, you grabbed this motherfucker and he's going on the ground and we're going to sit on top of him because fuck him.
Dude, can I ask you guys this question real quick?
I suppose.
Did your guys' heart break for that Morlock when Magneto told him don't be afraid? That Morlock who we met in the first season of the original series.
Leech.
Yeah, Leech. Which you were right. Because in TOS, you were like, hey, you know, I know we hate that movie, but in the third movie, there's that kid, and I pulled up the picture. It's Leech next to Leech, and I'm like, no, Shane's right. We're dumbasses. We kept being like, no, that ain't Leech.
I mean, that was Leech. He is right, but, like, it's definitely not the same concept because the Leech in the movie can't control powers. Like, he's just like, there's just like a field around him. But, like, the Leech in the show just seems to be able to like pick and choose what he affects and for how long and the distance, and he can also like dematerialize chains on beds and things like that.
Yep, exactly.
But I'm telling you, did it break your heart? Because it did for me. Like
it literally started to until all of a sudden I was like, oh fuck, they are all dead, and then Rogue in a pissed off rage flies the fuck off the handle till Remy literally blows her the fuck up and knocks her the fuck off course, and then goes, hey, come at me, bro. And then he gets stabbed, and I'm like, oh fuck, that Gambit?
Listen,
not Gambit. Hey, remember the name, and I'm like, oh
listen,
shit. Okay.
when I listen, that whole episode broke my heart. From Leech dying to I've never seen a sadder fucking face. It's been a long time since I've seen such a sad face on somebody who just wanted to be accepted, and he's dying because he's green. Oh my god, who gives a fuck? Right. That dude's like the nicest motherfucker.
He's dying because he's green.
That's why
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and it broke my heart to see him die. And when I saw Gambit die, the reason it broke my heart too, but at least Gambit got to go out in style, like he's always wanted to.
No, he knows about style.
And he knows all about when he grabbed that motherfucker, and he's like, "Listen, bitch, I don't know. I think you forget what my power is. Why do people forget what I do? Just because I throw."
He definitely went out in style in that tux.
Oh yeah. But I'm going to tell you this right now. When he went, he says, you know, you fucked up. You know, I think you guys forget what I can do. Just because I throw playing cards, that's my choice. I can do a lot more than that. Watch what I'm about to do. You're about to see a big motherfucking explosion. Because he was kinetically charging the fucking the fucking Sentinel thing, and then I thought for a second he was kinetically charging himself, like he was going to go off like a nuke. But then I forget that his power, he can't do that until he becomes a horseman.
Yep.
When he can actually...
And
now Bill has to go X-Men are dumb.
Yep.
Power inconsistency is a true thing in all comic books. That's the reason there's a show called How It Should Have Ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That thing is a sentinel, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sentinel, turn the power off. We're done.
Yep.
We're done. He can fucking do that. We watch him do that in a later episode where Magneto just decides, just turn power off on the entire planet. And he shuts down every Sentinel. They're all done. None of them. They can't operate.
Yep.
There's like a secondary unit of Sentinels that's like built later or whatever. But all the like, if he could just cause like an EMP thing across the planet that shuts everything down, turn the Sentinel off.
Yeah.
Maybe
the second they showed that he could do that, turn the big Sentinel off.
Yeah.
All I can think of is the reason he doesn't do that because the attack happened so quickly, it caught everybody off guard. He's trying to save as many of his people as he can.
Teleport.
I was Nightcrawler there?
That's another question too. Nightcrawler's there too. Nightcrawler literally could teleport Magneto away from the fight, give him like 1 second to think about it.
Yep. I guess you can sit there.
Yeah, he literally could have EMP'd the entire fucking island.
It would have shut down the mutant nation.
They'd been done.
Listen, I can only break it down like this. This is a debate show. We debate things, and this is the only thing I can think of. I've never been in combat before, so I don't know.
Oh, I know you don't think clearly, and I get that.
And I think that's the reason why. Because they saw it coming, maybe it would have been different. But they were literally dancing, and the next thing you know, boom.
Yeah.
And then Nightcrawler is in frantic, trying to save as many people as he can. He's not thinking, I got to get these people away from this general area. I'm not thinking about taking them away out of the city because my mind's not going there right now. I got to get these guys. I can only take so many people. I'm only so strong. I can only teleport so many people before I get so fucking tired I can't even do it.
Right.
Shane,
and you've seen it when he pulled like.
Go ahead. I need to help you with something.
Okay, go ahead.
What do the X-Men always end up doing? Where do you see them spending the most time?
The Danger Room.
Danger Room.
Why are they in the Danger Room, Shane?
Training.
To deal with combat situations so they keep their head.
Yeah, to keep your head clear.
Another
Why
thing.
do you think that when you join the military, the number one thing that they end up doing is they put you in basic training? What's basic training supposed to do? It's supposed to get you used to doing all of the shit that you're going to do on a day-to-day basis when you're out in a war zone on the battlefield. You got to get used to hearing bullets flying and grenades blowing up.
The other issue that I see here is power creep is real. I see it in things like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, and if you're going to give powers to somebody, you better be able to explain why all of a sudden their fucking powers don't work. He can lift an asteroid, a literal state-size asteroid out of the atmosphere. Throw the Sentinel off the planet. We're done!
And even if it's one of those Sentinels that's made out of plastic, doesn't fucking matter.
Lift up the ground that it's on.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Pick up the Sentinel. Oh, well, let's shoot lasers. Then I'll go underneath of it.
Yep.
Up to the sun.
All right, hold on. Then let me break it out here. Then I'll do it. Then let me bring you a different.
Nightcrawler, bamf me there. Poof.
Hold on.
Push.
Let me get into the mind of the writer real quick. Ready? Here we go.
The plot has to happen.
Nope, I got it. I want Gambit to have a really cool moment.
Yep.
But I also want it to be also one of the most tragic moments in the entire season.
It's not that they couldn't have found a way to do it. This is just a thing that happens in all media. It's funny to like look at things and go, hold on. If they could always, you know what I'm talking about? Like you gotta think about stuff like that.
If that Jedi has the ability to use a force push, why didn't they just like throw him off a fucking cliff?
Yeah, why are they trying to fight so hard in close quarters?
Anakin, I have the high ground. Push into the lava.
Yeah, when they're
By
standing on
Obi-Wan.
those, when they're standing on those little tiny platforms, just one of them doing one force push. If one of them would have got the other one, that's the end of it. And actually, if you pay attention to the way that thing is spinning, if Anakin and him would have locked hands and then done that same thing they did before, where it goes kadoo and like a big force explosion happens, one of them would have fell on the land, one of them would have fell in the lava. Fight's done.
Yep.
Somebody lost. I'm not going to say exactly who, because the thing was spinning, but I'm just saying, and like they ignore their own powers. Like for some reason, randomly, they can run in the very first fucking fight of Phantom Menace. They run at incalculable speed. I mean, you can't even see them move. They become a blur. Yep. But then at the end, Obi-Wan is desperately attempting to run down a hallway, and he's like moving at a fast jogger's pace. Fuck you, Obi-Wan. Put some fucking force on that run. Your mentor needs some assistance, damn it.
Then Qui-Gon ends up dead, and Obi-Wan ends up hanging from a pipe, and he's like, hold on, wait a minute. I need to get the fuck out of here. Let me force jump over this shit.
You know what?
Sorry, where the fuck were your force powers like 5 fucking minutes ago when you needed to save your mentor?
Where were your fucking force powers 5 minutes ago?
If the force surrounds all of us and binds us all together, why the fuck didn't you just use a force push? I know you're behind.
For that matter,
why didn't you just force push that motherfucker's lightsaber?
You want to know the funniest end to the Phantom Menace final fight? Because I'm going to tell it to you right now. While Darth Maul is being all cool, remember when he comes out and he takes his hood off and he's cool. Takes his cloak off and he's cool. Takes his saber out, he's cool. One side. Then to be really cool, I'm going to hold it with one hand and put it out here real nice like. Turn the force pull.
Yep.
Just take his saber away. Just take it.
Guys, let me tell you something.
And there's two of you. You can't tell me that the two of them using force pull at the same time couldn't have just ripped it out of his one hand that he's barely holding because he has to look cool for a moment. Just take it away.
Listen. Let me tell you this right now. I promise you, in Obi-Wan, the Disney series, when he's living by himself in the cave and stuff, I guarantee you, he probably like was laying there one night and woke up, like had like a nightmare, and woke up and like had an epiphany. He's like, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, oh shit! I know he was like he was trying to communicate with Qui-Gon that whole season. And if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert. Sorry, my bad. I should have started with that. But he does eventually communicate with him.
Right.
But during that whole time, Obi-Wan could have been like, "Oh my God, Master, I am so sorry. I didn't realize that before you died, I could have just used force speed to get to you quicker. Oh my God, I fucked up."
I mean, that's not the only thing. You could do this a million times in a million different shows. I just think it's funny every time you start messing with powers. And because we were actually going to do this, we were going to do an entire episode called Power Inconsistency. And that was we never ended up doing it, but we were just going to talk about like, hold on a minute. If you can this.
Yeah, because he could have pushed, pulled, done a whirlwind. Fucking literally thrown him off his fucking balance.
Right.
Helped Qui-Gon literally. Oh, Qui-Gon, you're about to get stabbed. Pull Qui-Gon the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, you're standing there watching the entire thing. You can't pull through that field. Maybe Qui-Gon falls on his butt. Hurts his butt a little bit.
We already goddamn watched you guys fucking... Oh, hey, we need to do these trade negotiations. Oh, fuck, they locked the door and they're filling the room full of a poisonous gas. Huh. Third time this week, eh, Master?
Right.
Hey, we cut a hole through this door.
Right. How come you don't, like, force push the stupid little panel things out of the way? Ka-doom! Just blow the whole way to pieces.
You might not be able to go through the wall, but you know what you could do? Boom. Okay, now I'm in the floor. I'm going to walk 5 feet forward. Zap. Okay, now I'm up.
Listen.
Hi, I'm here.
You want to know what's a bitch?
And that's not the only movie. There's hundreds of movies you could do this with. There's hundreds of X-Men shit you could do this with because of the way powers work.
And
hey, by the way, we're dealing with a Terminator. He can't feel. He has no remorse. He's not going to stop until he kills you. So we're going to go to a junkyard, and I'm going to get a giant fucking magnet crane, and I'm going to hang out next to the giant magnet crane. I want you to stand there.
Yeah, just stand there.
I'm going to put you here, and I'm going to make it seem like you're actually here. And when he comes to fucking shoot you and realizes he can't shoot you, so he's got to break through it, I'm just going to fucking drop the magnet on top of him, turn it the fuck on, and lift his ass up 80,000 feet in the air because, magnets and robotics.
Listen.
Terminator. Super deadly.
I'm going to tell you something right now. When you look at these movies, power creeping, all of this, I'm going to tell you right now, the hardest thing to get around is the suspension of disbelief.
Well, it's actually, there's an entire study that actually talks about how it's really interesting. They talk about the zombie apocalypse and how it would not be a thing.
Yep.
No, I'm serious.
No, he's dead serious.
Oh,
Let me ask you a question. What is the most dangerous weapon you own?
The dangerous weapon I own?
The most dangerous weapon you own. Everybody has it.
Okay.
You just used it.
Well, hold on.
There you go again.
Well, my mind, yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
Take it away. Now, you're a dead, lumbering, slow zombie that only thinks about eating.
Yep.
You took away the only fucking weapon we have. And if all you got to do is destroy the brain, we could literally contain a zombie outbreak in an afternoon.
Yep.
Everybody could just, go to Central Park and, stand in a big circle. And as they come out of the city, just waste them.
Yep.
You don't even have to be fast. You could do it with baseball bats, crowbars, fucking swords, tiny knives, guns. There's plenty of guns.
Once you take the mind,
if you want to be a hard ass,
if you really want to be smart, you want to be real smart. Walk up a staircase. You win.
Yep.
They have to come up the stairs. Wrong. Their coordination is terrible. Most of them are going to fall as they attempt to do it. After a while, you basically have an entire human sandbag that's built up along the area where they can no longer even climb over one another. You're fine.
Yep. Literally, the only two movies that make zombies any type of a threat is fucking World War Z.
Yeah, there's a couple zombies.
Yeah, because Max Brooks is he's a little bit of a crazy man, but when your dad is fucking Mel Brooks, I mean,
and he had zombies and he had zombies climbing on top of each other like pyramids. That's scary shit right there. When they know that's a wall, we could get over that.
And Jake brought up the other one, Return of the Living Dead.
Oh my god, that one's the most terrifying one.
Send more cops.
If they get to keep their actual brain function, they're dangerous. If they're lumbering
Walking Dead zombies,
like lumbering instinct factories, they know need to eat food there.
Yep. In fact, here is the only other movie that would actually make them any type of a problem. Now, why does Land of the Dead make them a problem? Because some of the zombies start gaining intelligence again.
Yeah.
And yes, I do. I did watch Train to Busan.
No,
and
it's just a funny thing. Like when you start messing with powers and power inconsistency, I'm telling you, we could do an entire episode on stuff like that.
Fact, we may have next time's episode because that will be fun.
If we got just a whole bunch of. Because I've done it before. I've been watching movies and then in the middle of the movie been like, wait a second.
Dude, I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I do it all the time. Like, why didn't you just do that?
Right. Why did...
Or listen.
I get that stress can change the way you think. Right now, hindsight is 20/20. It's just like, but they also make fun of it in Dragon Ball. Like, in Team 4-Star was the first ones to be like, why didn't Raditz just jump?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fly.
And he
can't move left and right, but Goku has no power left. And Raditz is still sitting at least fucking 900. You're telling me he can't just jump? If Roshi can jump 20 fucking stories at 200, then a guy at 900 should be able to move at near the speed of light, jumping up. This can never hit him unless you purposely walked across the area, put your finger literally to his temple and said, "Bye, bitch." Pew!
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he could have just been
And
like,
technically, Jake, we're not ruining Shaun of the Dead because if you think about it, in Shaun of the Dead, they retain their personality, and in order to retain your personality, you still have some brains. You might be about as smart as the average dumbass who sits at home and watches the Jerry Springer show and thinks it's real shit.
Dang!
oh my goodness, oh my
Hey, I'm
goodness,
quoting Carlin here.
oh my goodness.
Carlin says, I want you to think of the dumbest person that you know. Now, I want you to think about it this way. The people on the Jerry Springer show, that's the average American intelligence. The guy sitting at home watching Jerry Springer, he's below average because he can't even be on the show. And he's sitting at home filling out his sample ballot, getting ready to go vote.
Oh my goodness.
He says, "Oh my goodness."
No, boy, that was an enlightening fucking quote.
Oh, if you
That
ever
was-
actually sit down and watch like the George Carlin like stand-ups, that dude, he's funny, but he'll also stop his show basically almost in the middle of a joke and then tell you some real shit
Yep, yes,
that
he
you
will.
probably
And
don't
in
want to
fact,
hear.
Let
I don't-
me see if I can't find it here because I do have a playlist completely filled with nothing but stand-up comedy in it. I may end up having to go poopy. Yeah,
So-
I may have to do this from off my phone then.
So
So yes,
basically,
I will share it in the chat, and I literally have an entire chunk dedicated to Carlin.
So I
So
don't think we're necessarily done here. I think there's still a lot of stuff we could bring up, a lot of stuff we could honestly talk about.
Well, in fact, let me end it with one last bit that
Yeah.
I was getting to
Go ahead.
in terms of the expectation. So now we get to the end of the series where fucking President Kelly was a dick and threw nukes at the fucking X-Men because, you know, he's a dumbass and, oh, hey, well, the power's back on. The X-Men must have done their job. Fuck it, nuke them. And all of a sudden, they all get teleported to random points in time. Do you notice how most of the team ended up in ancient Egypt?
yep.
There was a name that was mentioned there, Shane. What was that name? Mentioned there, Shane?
Well, Seth and Seth.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot the volume was up and I put my headphones away. By the way, for anybody in the chat, that link I put out, that's literally to a playlist.
Well,
Oh, Jake got it?
Yep.
I believe they mentioned that dude's name.
Yes.
I can't remember his name, but I know that's Apocalypse.
Ensubner.
I know that's Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
In fact, to be honest with you, the second they went back to 3000 BC, the second they landed, I'm like, oh, Apocalypse.
Yep.
I'm not
Now,
dumb.
Shane,
I know.
Shane, let's do something more fun. Do you notice how Gene and Scott ended up on their own in the year? What was it? It was like 3200 or some shit.
I think it was 3059.
Yep.
Well-
Like I said before, they're hanging out with their son, who
Mm-hmm.
is now maybe I'd put him somewhere between 8 and 10 years old.
Actually, no. I would put him at least 14.
That
He was a-
looked like a young
That
little
was-
boy.
That was a teenager. I believe they even referenced him as like when I was doing research after I watched it all. I think they even said it was teenager Nathan.
Fair, then maybe, yeah, we'll put him at 13, but he definitely was super young. But they see their son, who, luckily, he has the robotic arm,
Yep.
which means he's still Cable. They
Yep.
didn't fix him and turn him into Nate,
Yep.
so he's not Nate Gray.
Yep.
And they see their daughter, Rachel.
Yep.
Their daughter, Rachel.
Yes.
Because
the
Rachel comes from Gene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I do
Gene
know-
has Rachel, Madeline Pryor has Nathan.
Yep. I know.
So
I do
now we have more expectations for season 2.
Mhm.
Because if Nathan is there as a teen and Rachel is there as an old ass, like I'd say 70-year-old grandma looking thing, even though I'm pretty sure she's probably only like late 50s, early 60s. But in terms of that, I wonder if they're going to end up doing Hope.
Interesting.
Obviously, we already know that fucking Cable's going to come back and he's going to be death for the next time that they have to deal with Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Which you imagine they'll play out in the next season.
Yep.
Yep.
Which means then that Gambit will be back as fucking Gambit.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, after they whoop his ass and fucking
They're
take
gonna.
away the power, but
They're also gonna probably convert Wolverine to the feral beast that he becomes.
Oh, please no.
Hold on. I did a lot of
Bandana Wolverine is so noseless. Bandana Wolverine is so stupid.
Listen,
it kind of makes me wonder if they're actually going to do, because they've already mentioned
And his
Madripoor.
big fucking monster toes.
Bill,
Well,
listen.
again, well, no, hold on, because here's the other thing. They've already mentioned Madripoor. In fact, they went there, and that's when they fought the first Sentinel Prime, which ended up being Gyrick.
Right.
Or no, it was Trask. So, I wonder if Wolvie's going to end up being Patch for a little while. They already showed Daredevil, as well as Cloak and Dagger. They showed Silver Samurai. You get to see Omega Red hanging out with like a bunch of other mutants. I didn't get to catch all of them.
I didn't
We
either.
already know that the Avengers are there.
Yep.
Like I said, I wonder if not in season 2, maybe in season 3 they'll get, T'Challa and Storm together.
Yep.
Because as far as I know, Storm is still in 3000 BC.
Possibly.
So I'm wondering if they're going to start doing more shit with the Avengers, especially because if they do end up having Hope, I wonder if they're going to end up doing Avengers versus X-Men. At the same time, I also had fears when Scott started trying to save Magneto. Oh, fuck. Are they going to do that bullshit where fucking Scott and Magneto decide, hey, we need child soldiers. And because we need children soldiers, Wolverine says, no, get fucked. And now we have to play off. Yep, now we have to play off Schism. I know that Wanda currently ends up being off-world. But you think they might end up trying to play House of M?
Oh man, the No More Mutants.
Possibility. I want to add on to this.
By the way, they may not have done it, but if they do end up deciding to do an Avengers series in the style of 97, do you think maybe they might do an animated version of Civil War where, the real events happen, not just, hey, here's movie events?
Possibly.
Right. By the way, Deadpool and Wolverine are coming in soon in their own movie.
Yep.
And with Deadpool and Wolverine having the ability to switch different dimensions and locations and different Earths.
That's Polaris, Jake. The green hair girl is named Polaris.
Yep.
Magneto's
instead of sitting in the in just the 616, running around in the comic books and all that, maybe they could end up making a jump over to the X-Men and Spider-Man animated universe at some point. So maybe we could end up with a Deadpool in there for a while.
Dude.
Where maybe they can con Ryan Reynolds into actually, doing the voice. And that's if they don't end up getting, and I feel bad because I can't think of the guy's name right now. But if they don't get Nolan North, there we go, who normally does the voice of Deadpool for the video games, to step in. Hell, who knows? Maybe in that movie they could even go to the video game universe. With Multiverse of Madness, we already saw fucking Doctor Strange run through 80,000 different versions of Marvel universes.
Well, I want to add...
Wolverine is fucked up right now, right? He has no adamantium, correct? You can easily pull his blood. If they haven't already.
For X-23, yep.
Yeah, do you think maybe an X-23 may show up here in this new series?
It could be, because, I'm also, I love this. I love this series so much. Honestly, I love this series so much.
We need Spider-Man 98. I mean, you're
I
not
haven't
wrong.
been paying attention to it, but if that's true, if they've actually said that, if there's something written that Deadpool isn't allowed to appear in X-Men 97, that would be strange because there is a Deadpool cameo in the 90s X-Men.
Yes, there is. In fact, I believe there's 2 of them. Because there's one when Sabretooth, when Charles is going through Sabretooth's mind, He literally sees Wolverine and Deadpool fist fighting him. Yeah, but that's evolution. Evolution doesn't actually count for any of this.
No, but he's just saying that it's not beyond the realm of possibility because she has been animated before.
Well, yeah,
so
that's
there's
true.
no reason not to adapt her into another series, especially one that's arguably more successful.
And considering the fact that almost every single one of the intros show spoilers, fuck, they literally spoiled fucking Asteroid M being back in the intro
Yeah, I saw.
to fucking episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
We see Cable fighting Apocalypse. Who's to say that doesn't happen in season 2?
Well,
Because Cable's still on basically Timeline Prime in the present.
Yep.
He's sans an arm, but he's still there.
Like,
so you would have in the present timeline, you would have Forge, Cable, Wolverine, Jubilee, Roberto. Because I can never think, because I don't think it's Sunspot, is it?
yeah, it's he's
okay. So
yeah,
you'd have Sunspot. You would technically have a bunch of other fucking mutants who could team up with them if it comes down to it to fight Apocalypse. As well as the Avengers could even show up to fucking help. Who knows? Fucking Spider-Man could web his way in and fucking give him a hand. Morph is technically still there because I don't think he ended up going back in time, did he?
No, he was on the.
He was on the ground.
Wait, hold on. Let me think.
Right, exactly. Because I literally watched it yesterday.
Jubilee
is on the ground, so she doesn't go back. Sunspot's on the ground. He doesn't go back or forward.
Right.
So what they're going to do, season 3 is going to be interesting because they're going to play 3 storylines all at once.
No.
They're going to play a storyline in the past, a storyline in the future, and a storyline in the present. And that's going to be very interesting because they can literally hit on multiple areas of the comics and cover multiple areas of ground.
And yes, Jake's right.
While they play issues.
He was sitting in the Deathbird or the Blackbird rather.
Yeah, he was with
Wolverine. He literally turned into Jean and was like, "Fucking
just to put this into perspective, DeMeo got asked about it, and Disney told them outright, no Deadpool.
That's fine.
There's a reason I'm telling you not to take that at face value. They also said Andrew Garfield will not be in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie.
Yep.
Disney is famous at this point for altering trailers and lying to fans. Not because they're assholes, but because they do it to cause the issue that you're doing right now. If they lie to you and they say, hey, Deadpool's not allowed,
won't be there.
Then he shows up. You got, you and me, and I'm not just saying you, me too will be like, oh shit! Because, it's already been stated, it's not going to happen. So now if it does happen, it's going to be a much bigger, reaction from us that, oh shit, I kind of like, because I love a chance to bring this all the way back, kind of like Motu. See, in Motu, you are not allowed to have Adora and Adam in the same series. It is actually not allowed. It is written in the contracts, in the licensing agreement, that She-Ra and He-Man cannot share the same show. But even though that's been a rule forever, and even though every single interview moving up to Revolution said She-Ra will not be in it, they didn't technically lie, but in the very last minute, big old fucking spoiler, in the very last minute of that show, Despara makes an appearance, and Despara is Adora. Adora is She-Ra. If they do another 5 episodes, which you better fucking continue Motu. If they do another 5 episodes, She-Ra will finally, for the first time in literal decades, in 40 friggin' years, will meet face to face with her brother. It has not happened on film in over 40 years.
Yep.
That is a huge deal, and we may very well be on the edge of finally doing it, even though we were told Nope,
Ain't gonna
Netflix
happen.
won't let us do it.
Well, they just want to do it. They say this stuff because they just want everybody to be surprised, and
Mhm.
they just want people to get those reactions because I think that's what
Look,
it is. They want the reactions. They want the controversy. They want people online talking about it. You're talking about it. That's publicity. It's all about that shit when it comes down to it.
well, Shane, let me even take you back a bit. So, you remember Ragnarok, right?
Yeah,
Do you remember the trailer for Ragnarok?
I believe so.
Cool, because in the trailer for Ragnarok, Thor has 2 eyes. In the actual Ragnarok movie, Thor is missing an eye. It was literally burned the fuck out when he literally points back to the
Right.
castle and goes, "He can beat you."
But in the previews, he doesn't have that injury,
Yep.
so that people would
Why?
not see that shit coming.
Yep.
They're famous for this. So never, I know that we have no choice but to get our information from the sources that we have. Do not trust those sources. Trust them to a
Yep.
minor point. Take what they say with a grain of salt, and then understand what's possible. Because I'm telling you, they lie to us on purpose, and they have to. I actually
Take
appreciate
them with
it.
a grain of salt and a shot of tequila.
I appreciate the fact that they lie to us. If you want the truth, I know that people got all mad about things like when they basically did when they did Revelation, and everybody was mad that Kevin Smith lied. I'm happy he did, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I like to still be surprised by media, and it's not a thing anymore. I know every single thing that's going to happen in a video game before I play it. I know. I know basically the entire plot and half the movie, if not more than a movie, before I watch it. I know the special secret bad guys that are supposed to surprise us in movies before they appear, because we live in a world of information that bombards us every single moment. So if Disney and other companies want to take it upon themselves to lie about the information and purposely cause misinformation so that I don't see what's coming, and then I can go watch a movie and go, oh shit, I'm on board. I'm 1,000% on board, because I'm tired of knowing everything.
Look, let me put it to you this way. When Ghostbusters came out, we all said, fuck it, we're not filming that weekend. We're going to go see Ghostbusters. So we got together and saw Ghostbusters. I watched 2 different trailers, and I mean literally different trailers. Saw an interview on Twitter with fucking Patton Oswalt where he's like, oh, it's so great to be in the movie. And I'm like, well, I at least saw you in the trailer, so I know you're going to be in there. And I said, all right, cool. So I know several of the characters that are going to be in there. There's going to be some old Ghostbusters. There's the new Ghostbusters. There's going to be a new bad guy. All right, cool. There's going to be some cool shit. Then they shocked the shit out of me with some of the side characters being actors that I knew of, but didn't realize were going to be the fuck in the damn movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the return of Venkman after everybody was like, yeah, Bill Murray doesn't want to do anything fucking Ghostbusters ever the fuck again. I was like, wait, what? Are you shitting me?
They even played it off like he wasn't in the movie. They played it almost to the very end when he finally knocks on the door and he's like, may I render some assistance?
Uh-huh.
They did it very well. He wasn't in a single preview. I don't remember a bunch of like background stuff where they were talking to him. I don't remember and I do remember them saying something like, "I'm kind of done with it. Like I'm just not feeling it anymore. It's not, I've done the Ghostbusters thing. We did the show to get them off the ground. I think I'm done." And then he shows up. I like to be surprised by my media sometimes in an age where that's simply not possible. Especially now when we're at a point where they're basically remaking media that I've already been a part of.
Listen, the tedium of knowing that what's to come gets boring. Sometimes sometimes you can put a little spice in there. Shock me. Give me a surprise. Give me the feeling of.
But they're scared to do it. They're scared to do it because
are.
sometimes they surprise people and everybody gets on the Wolverine is gay kick. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's true.
Or
every time they change something, half the world has to come out and be like, "Oh my God, it's not my X-Men."
Or they surprise the shit out of me where I'm thinking, holy fuck, they killed Gambit. Maybe this time they might make a series where Death is actually... Oh, never mind.
Right. Oh, never mind. And I like how that was funny as shit because you were like praising the show and you were like, no,
Yeah.
I love it. It's like
Yeah.
it's one of those shows.
Death-
It's this and
death-
that. They take death seriously. Like when characters die, they do not come back. By the way, Gambit's coming back. Oh shit.
Well, the
Like,
second,
God damn it.
the second, like you saw Apocalypse. I think the second they landed in 3000 BC, Seth was like, "Oh, son of a bitch, Gambit's coming back."
No, they landed in 3000 BC, and I'm like, no, is that? Because I saw the eyes, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Hey, this gentleman that we just saved, he might hold the answer to where we are.
Right.
Oh, fuck, the blue lips.
Yep.
And Subner. Motherfucker! And then all of a sudden they go to the future. I didn't even realize that was fucking Rachel until like way the fuck later when I'm doing the notes. And I look it up and I'm like, who the fuck even is this bitch?
Right.
Because the first time I watched through it, I missed the line where Beast literally mentions, oh yeah, you know that place in like Nepal where they literally they taught fucking Doctor Strange how to be a fucking sorcerer before he became Sorcerer Supreme? I can't think of the fucking name of it right now.
Right.
But they're like, yeah, you know that place? Yeah, there were a bunch of mystics there were like, oh yeah, no, there are fixed points in time that cannot be changed. I'm like, the second viewing, I'm like, why does that sound familiar? Oh, motherfucker. I think that was a Doctor Strange thing because when he was fighting Dormammu with the fucking time stone and rewinding time a billion times over every time he would die. Dormammu, I come to barter. Slap. Dormammu, I come to barter. Slap. Dormammu, I fire. Dormammu, fire. Dormammu, punch. Dormammu. What?
Make it stop.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. And then that's when I noticed, oh fuck, he has a TVA-esque fucking timeline with multiple branches, including a branch that shows, oh hey, Jean goes fucking haywire, becomes the Phoenix, and kills everybody because it literally is a big fucking square at the end of the timeline with a fucking X through it being like, nope, don't go there. Don't go to that timeline. Fuck that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to have to pick this up next time, I guess, or the next time we can get together or whatever.
Right.
We are at 3 hours, and I've got people showing up now.
It sounds about right.
Yep.
I was about to say, you probably need to get going soon.
But that was this one. This one was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
This will be another one I listen to at work tonight as I'm bored.
yep, this is. We need more stuff like this where we can really get into the content and just go crazy, because we like this. Really, this is the kind of stuff that's going to put us back on track.
Hell,
Hold on, let me.
Hell,
Nope, I'm still at page 1 of 17. I think I've only deleted like 2 fucking notes out of this thing. So
Listen.
if we get to it in TOS, I'll still have most of my notes.
Awesome.
Listen, I love this series so much that I even did research. And you guys know I hardly ever do that stuff.
Right.
So like, I have so much more to say too. And there's just not enough time in the day. But
Right.
Well, to be fair, you and I could still bullshit for at least another hour after Bill leaves, but we got to wrap this up. So say the line, Shane.
all right, later on, guys. Bye.